In the Aquili Plains, a girl went up and asked, "Everyone, do you have enough help?" A person immediately replied, "Oh, it's Inia. Sorry, but we have enough people." Inia asked in frustration, "Really?" She reached out towards the girl who had just spoken. "Are you currently doing embroidery to earn money?" The girl dodged uncomfortably. "Please stay away from us, Inia. People feel scared when you are near." Inia hurriedly pulled her hand back. "Ah, I'm sorry." Saying that, she turned and left. Behind her, they gossiped. "Isn't that the girl living with Chieftain Tan? Why would a cripple come here and say she wants to work? Look at her white skin. She's never worked a day in her life, right?" Sure. Watch your language. If you say anything bad about Inia, you don't know what Tan will do to you. In Aquili, where a healthy body is considered the most precious asset, any child born with a deformity is discarded immediately. But I was lucky. While I was deep in thought, an announcement rang out. "The hunting team has returned." Then everyone cheered joyfully. Tan is back. The chieftain is back. Chieftain Tan is a god to the young men of Aquili, an incarnation of Jace, the god of war worshipped in Aquili. People buzz again. If this continues, the next tribe leader will be Tan, right? Of course, if not Tan, then who else? Whenever a team goes out hunting with Tan, they return intact, and he is revered as a natural-born hunter. There was a time when Tan was seen as an outsider, a descendant of the fallen Kakatina, a cursed bloodline. The boy was rejected and isolated even more than a disabled person, with his fierce and cunning eyes. But that boy survived and climbed to the position of chieftain. People gradually respected Tan more than the old and sickly tribe leader because he would never let anyone by his side starve to death. And now everyone feels helpless because they cannot imitate him. And Tan is always noticed and cared for by women. However, of all the people in the Aquili Plains, the strongest man only desires a limping woman. He chose me, a disabled woman, someone treated worse than a human in Aquili. Tan is the strongest and is at the peak of power in Aquili. The thought that if a more beautiful and healthy woman appeared, he would set his eyes on her scares me unbearably. But years passed, and Tan still vowed to be by my side forever. Men out there would sleep with several women at once if they had the chance. So why did Tan choose to be with someone defective like me? Thinking of this, she called out softly, "Tan." But looking up, she saw no one. Just then, Tan walked in carrying a basin of water and asked, "Inia, you're awake." She smiled and replied, "Yes." Looking at the basin of water below and his actions, she said shyly, "You don't have to do this." "I can." Tan interrupted. "You can't even move a bit." Inia thought to herself, this is supposed to be the woman's duty, to wipe the other's feet with a wet towel. This is a way to express satisfaction to the person they made love with. "I can't believe I'm the one receiving the treatment that I'm supposed to be giving." Suddenly he looked up and asked, "Did it hurt much yesterday?" She stammered, "No, it didn't hurt. Really, it didn't hurt at all." Tan frowned and emphasized, Never mind. If you don't like it or find it difficult, just tell me." Inia thought helplessly, "I always say things like, 'You were great last night,' and 'it didn't hurt,' but it seems he never believes me." After he carefully wiped her feet and looked up, he caught Inia's gaze and her blushing face. Tan immediately kissed her white skin. "Tan, wait. Damn it. Inia, just a little bit more." He reached up to tuck her hair back and whispered, "Inia, you are so sweet that I just want to drown in your scent. I am the last survivor of the Kakatina tribe. On the night the entire Kakatina territory was engulfed in a sea of fire. My father disappeared with my younger sister on his back, saying he would return. I thought I would spend the rest of my life looking for my sister and father after that day, until I found my sister's body. I never witnessed with my own eyes how my father died. And so, Mother and I were the only ones who came to the wasteland. In the dangerous area of Aquili, where all kinds of monsters and swarms of vermin live, there's a place called the wasteland. Coincidentally, the wasteland was falling into a period of chaos and busyness during the monster season. So even though I was a descendant of a destroyed tribe and had no connections, I was lucky enough to be assigned the task of processing monster meat, the smell of meat about to rot. I worked all day, butchering meat and removing bones, until that smell soaked into my entire body, and a small piece of meat was thrown at me. This is the reward I get after working a long day. I don't know what words to use to describe it anymore. If I leave and go to the forest, I can survive on my own. But without me, my mother. At that moment, Taein was deep in thought when a sound came from behind the bushes. He thought, is it a monster? But then his eyes filled with surprise. It was a girl. Is that old man her guardian? The fact that he isn't dead yet is surprising. At this moment, the girl backed away behind the man. Suddenly, Taein remembered his mother lying at home. He cursed inwardly. Damn it. Suddenly the man spoke up. Watch. Then he pointed at Taein repeatedly saying, watch, follow watch. Taein looked at the girl and muttered, damn old man, who do you want to starve with? He clicked his tongue, TSK, then suddenly turned and ran away. As he ran, he thought, this is hell on earth for everyone here. A while later, Taein pulled back the curtain. I'm Ho. Just a short time after the defeat of Kakatina, my mother, who had gone through so many terrible things, had gone completely mad. Her eyes were lifeless, completely devoid of feeling. Her speech was always stuttered. She couldn't swallow food unless someone chewed it up and fed it to her mouth. My once beautiful and lucid mother had disappeared. Now, she doesn't even recognize me. And today's wage was only an apple. Suddenly, the sound of cursing rang out. Really, why can't you stay still? I'll give you something to eat if you calm down. Taein turned and saw the girl from before being pinned to the ground by a man. I didn't stay to find out, but it seems the old man with her is dead. Suddenly, her image evoked the appearance of Taein's younger sister. When she called out to her brother for help, Taein gritted his teeth. He threw the apple to the ground and rushed to attack that man relentlessly. Motherfucker, why don't you take your dirty hands off her? I didn't know if this surging emotion was rage or just a sudden conflict. Maybe because her face at that moment reminded me of my sister. That guy was beaten until his mouth bled. Damn it, crazy Kakatina. Suit yourself. Go ahead and starve to death. Saying that, he turned and left. Taein looked at the grains of food scattered on the ground. He pondered for a long while, then threw the apple to Enya. Eating something else is better than swallowing that rotten stuff. She held the apple in her hand, unable to hide her surprise. Looking at her expression, Taein thought, just because of an apple, she looks like she just saw God. Ah, I was wrong. I shouldn't have given it to her. This girl is in a pitiful state. He observed her from her head down to her bare feet. Then he turned his face away in embarrassment and cursed. Damn it. Suddenly a stone flew past Enya. Startled, she fell flat on the ground. Taein tossed the stone in his hand and threatened, stay away from me. He continued to put on a fierce face, thinking she would stop following him after that. At this moment, Enya struggled to stand up, but suddenly fell forward, shocking Taein. Then she looked up with a pitiful expression, and that was how the chaotic relationship between me and that girl began. Later, an old woman said, if you didn't intend to take responsibility, you shouldn't have gotten involved with her. Now it seems she will keep following you. But it's just like when you saved us, Andy. Andy Piach was the one who saved me and my mother from collapsing in the wasteland. Piach said, I already have too many people to save. You should feel grateful that I saved your life. She placed some medicinal leaves in Taein's hand and asked, do you think someone like me should be the one taking care of kids like you? Why do I struggle to manage caring for those people? I think people are starting to notice that I occasionally sneak out of the wasteland. So from now on, I will stop. I am too old and tired. You're the last ones I help. Enya returned with a handful of medicine. He stood looking at his moaning mother for a while, then muttered, the bedding is messy again. But I can't do anything, Mom, and I only have these few blankets. At least she took Annie Piach's medicine now. I don't know how long we have to struggle like this. Enya was still following behind, making him shout in annoyance. Get lost, looking at her pitiful face. Taein angrily threw the stone to the ground. I told you to scram. Don't follow me anymore. I don't think the old man told you to follow me every day. I'm already busy enough taking care of my mother. I don't have the ability to care for a pathetic person like you. He told himself, right, this is for the best. My current situation is already overwhelming. Although Kakatina set out its mission to protect the weak and sick, trying to act like that would be hypocritical and too much for me in this situation. Thinking that, he turned to leave. If you understand, then get lost immediately. A while later, Taein was bending down to wash the blanket in the stream when he suddenly saw something floating on the water surface. Looking just like human hair, it made him stand there dazed. And a pale face was revealed. Taein exclaimed inwardly in surprise. That is... Just then a voice rang out. I found it. Taein immediately looked up and thought. They are from the village of Aquili. They warned warily. It looks like it's still moving, so be careful. Search for it thoroughly. Taein realized. It seems one of the villagers was swept away and killed by a redbird. Red birds are animals easily spotted when they are drinking water from the river. They use the hooks on their tails to stab into the prey's skin. It is a vicious monster, always causing the death of many people every month. Those devil birds caught another person. They must be active recently because it's breeding season. Do you think so? Lord Harold, should I warn everyone not to use the riverbank for a while? Tayan muttered, the Aquili tribe leader. He said, forget it. I don't think doing that will be useful for our town. Furthermore, in this place, it's better to have prey from other tribes so those evil birds can be distracted by them. Let's go, it's about to rain. Tayan frowned, repeating the man's words. Bait to distract the birds? Did he just say he considers those living in the wasteland as nothing more than bait for monsters? How dare he? During the rainy season, the red birds eat more than usual, so they will hunt for prey day and night until it ends. But why am I worrying about others? I'm not in a position to do that. The next day, a whip struck Tayan's face with a crack, accompanied by shouting, hey you, if you keep working slowly, don't expect any wages today. He thought to himself, damn it, they're making things difficult again. I'll just have to endure it. I can't cause trouble at work. All day long, I was tasked with preparing meat for them. As the days passed in that repetitive cycle, my judgment seemed to grow as cloudy as muddy water. Tayan looked at his blood-stained hands, feeling malicious urges rising within him. The shouting rang out again. What are you doing? Get back to work. Tayan thought, the treatment has gotten worse since I caused trouble last time, but I'm just trying to get paid. Instead of a fair reward for hard work, he received a tiny piece of meat. Their behavior was no different from giving alms. The paymaster threw the meat on the ground, then laughed scornfully and said, pick it up. Tayan could only swallow his pride. Bending down to pick up the meat. Suddenly, the man stomped on Tayan and insulted him. You filthy cocatina, SHD. How dare you touch everyone's meat in our village? They gathered around, beating and cursing him. Bastard, stay down, just die already. In that moment, Tayan felt he couldn't take it anymore. Damn it, if I have to live like this. I'd rather be thrown into the river like a corpse. But what would happen to my mother if I disappeared? Suddenly, he turned to look toward the tree trunk. The image of Enya peeking out from behind it appeared. He gritted his teeth, thinking angrily, that girl again. That damn girl won't leave me alone. She makes it so I can't even think about my own life in peace. This time, I will definitely kill her. He approached and shouted, get lost. I don't have a shred of pity for you. But as the words left his mouth, he suddenly froze. Below were 2 rice balls wrapped in leaves. But the person was already gone. Tayan stood there looking for a long while. He picked up a rice ball, unable to hide his surprise. Rice balls? They're still warm. Did she leave this for me? He hesitated for a moment, then decided to lift it to his mouth and eat voraciously. Stupid girl. If you give me this, you'll go hungry for days. Suddenly, Tayan remembered his father's instructions. Take care of your mother, Tayan. You must live. Back then, Tayan could only call out to his father in helplessness. Snapping out of his thoughts, the sky began to pour rain. Tayan rushed back. To be honest, sometimes I wanted to give up on everything. Many times a day, I wanted to abandon my mother and run away into the forest alone. But for the sake of those who have passed, all I can do is protect Mother until the end. Tayan arrived at the hut and called out, Mother, I'm home. But when he went inside, his mother was nowhere to be seen. He immediately turned back outside and looked around. Where did she go? These are signs of being dragged away. What happened? Damn it, I should have moved to a different place sooner. As he ran, Tayan realized there was someone behind him. Is she still following me? Tayan gripped a stone in his hand and threw it toward Enya, shouting, Don't come here. Go away. I'm serious this time. Stop chasing me. Having said that, Tayan turned and left Enya standing there. He sprinted quickly to the riverbank and finally saw his mother there. Tayan called out loudly, Mother, and reached his hand out. She smiled and reached out to welcome her son. Come here with me. Let's go home, shall we? Yes, let's go. Mother, I know, the figure in front of me isn't my mother anymore. My world has been shattered and torn into pieces. Everything has vanished. Now I will be released from this pain and feel relief. Suddenly, Enya appeared from behind and hugged him tightly, because at that moment, a massive mouth was aiming for Tayan's position. He started realizing a redbird. Its tail feathers suddenly pierced through Enya's leg. Then, it lifted her up in front of Tayan. He stared blankly, eyes fixed on the scene. The moment the red bird opened its giant maw to swallow her, Tayan screamed frantically. No. He quickly pulled the knife from his body and bravely lunged at the redbird. A squelching sound rang out, blood splattering everywhere. The bird shrieked in agony. Screech, screech. He continued with another slash toward it. By this time, Enya had fainted. Taein bit his lip, telling himself, this time, just this once. He charged powerfully toward the redbird. As it flailed, Taein confronted it head-on. Just this once, I don't want to lose. Afterward, Taein was covered in blood, and the red bird lay dead in the water, defeated. Standing looking at the two women before him, Taein hurriedly rushed over calling, Mother, mother, open your eyes. Enya had also passed out. No, please. I want to take care of Mother one last time. I wanted to ensure she didn't meet a terrible end like the others in my family. At least I hoped it wouldn't look this pathetic. At that moment, Enya woke up. She looked at the two of them for a moment, then reached out. Before she could touch her, Taein shouted, Don't touch her. Don't touch my mother. Taein silently blamed himself. I'm losing someone I love like this again. I am a failure who can't do anything. Suddenly, Enya picked up the knife and said, You must end her suffering. She has become a host for the redbird, with just enough vitality left to exist while being used as food. So she must be in great pain. Taein reached for the knife, trembling, but suddenly Enya said, I will do it. That was something I should have done, but I couldn't do it. So those small hands calmly sent my dying mother, who had become a host for a monster, far away. And I could only watch in hopelessness, snapping out of the memory. Returning to the present, Taein sat on the bed and asked in surprise, A child? You want a child? Suddenly, he grabbed her hand and pulled her close, making her cry out in surprise, Taein, you don't mean you want a child with another man, do you? Just then, Enya sat up, breathing heavily. It was that dream again. She clutched the blanket tightly, thinking, could it be that Taein wants a child? The next morning, at the breakfast table, Taein said, If I go out tomorrow, I'll be back before the Sabbath. Really? Are you going somewhere nearby? She thought. But there are less than 15 days left until the Sabbath. Taein continued, Sabbath? I think I have to go to Perugia again. Perugia is a tribe in the wasteland that has friendly relations with Aguli. Recently, many people have lost their lives due to the swarm. Therefore, they requested support from Aguli, saying they lack men to hunt. Back then, Taein had formed an army and stayed there for a month. What happened in Perugia? Suddenly Taein frowned and exclaimed, Damn it, you know there aren't enough women participating in the Sabbath this time, right? At first, I only intended to send Regatta. However, the elders there kept calling for me. Enya silently exclaimed, Oh, Taein is going to find women to participate in the Sabbath. Of course, they know I have you, so I won't do anything that would make you ashamed. I intended to tell you earlier, but I missed the right moment. Enya couldn't help but worry inside. Women from Perugia will come. There will be precious women to pair with Aguli men and bear their children. But what if the day comes when Taein abandons me because he has another woman? And at that time, wouldn't it be better if I left Taein myself? Taein grabbed her hand and asked suspiciously, What were you just thinking? She started and replied, Nothing. He pulled her toward the bed. You wait quietly here until I return. Because if I hear strange things from other women like before, I definitely won't let them off easily. Oh yes. He warned again, Don't go anywhere there are men. You understand? I understand. The next morning, the sound of horses neighing rang out loudly, along with the noise of people. Turn the horse this way. Someone get me some new reins. Inside the room, Enya woke up at the start. Taein's people are outside. I intended to make breakfast for him before he left, but I overslept. She was about to step off the bed when suddenly Taein held her hand, then pulled her down and embraced her. Those damn bastards. I warned them not to be noisy in front of my house. Come on, Taein, get up now. You should eat something before you go. He said, I can eat while riding. If you travel on an empty stomach tomorrow, you'll be hungry. Then give me that now. Preparing food takes time. Not that. Your lips. Seeing her still looking at him blankly, Taein laughed and urged, Hurry up. If you don't do it, I won't get up. The voices of people outside echoed faintly. It seems I loaded this horse too heavily. Hey, ask Taein later if we can take a few more horses. Hearing this, Enya hurriedly kissed Taein on the lips. Suddenly, he flipped over, pinning her down. She started and called out, Tahan, stop. No, I won't be able to see you for the next few days. After that, she only let out moaning sounds. Outside, everyone had finished preparing everything and was just waiting for Taein to depart. In the room, he instructed Enya, I will be back in time for the Sabbath night. Remember to eat enough meals. Yes, don't worry. He kissed her forehead. I will return. Later, at the cool green riverbank, Enya sat washing clothes on a rock, thinking to herself, Taein always washes his own clothes, so there isn't much laundry left. Taein is good at everything. When he doesn't go out, he often wakes up early and does all the chores to help me. And he even taught me how to sew and weave baskets. Taein, you were taller than others, even when you were young. Finally, he became the chieftain, and many changes occurred in our lives after that. However, that wasn't a change I felt I should rejoice over. When Taein didn't participate in the Sabbath, Serbia, the wife of the leader Kakani and daughter of an elder, was busy criticizing Taein for neglecting his duties for a crippled woman. Kakanti said that you don't even notice me, saying I carry the filthy blood of the Kakatina. Now you want me to participate in the Sabbath? I was mobilized to hunt according to the rules you established. I've overcome near-death dangers many times. Since I was a child, I have never stopped dedicating myself to the tribe's work. The wealth piled up in your warehouse right now is certainly proof of that, isn't it? And you still expect me to shoulder more obligations? In the end, the Council of Elders proposed that Taein hold the position of chieftain, on the condition that he would not participate in the Sabbath. From then on, no one criticized Taein's leadership of the tribe anymore. In the past, no one cared about us. Taein shouldn't complain about the life he has gained, right? Thinking of this, Enya was startled and stopped. Behind her, the girls exclaimed, "Oh my, who is that?" "Luhan, long time no see, where are you going?" "We are going to weave baskets." "I see, I just finished washing clothes." The girl next to her said annoyedly, "Luhan, are you crazy?" It was so sudden, Enya just stood there blankly. The pink-haired girl said, "I'm sorry, Enya, we're running late, so we'll go ahead." They left and whispered, "What's wrong? Do you really not know?" Suddenly Luhan turned back to look at Enya, then happily approached and asked, "Enya, are you busy today?" "No, I'm not busy." "Then, why don't you come weave baskets with me? We're going to work." Enya couldn't help but be surprised hearing that. Afterward, Enya went with them to the basket weaving place. "Luhan," asked Azu, "why are you so late?" "We ran into some things on the way here." At this moment, Enya lifted the curtain and walked in. She appeared extremely nervous. Because all eyes were focused on Enya, she confusedly looked around and wondered, where should I sit? But the room was packed with people. She thought to herself, I'll sit in the back then. Suddenly, a voice called out, Mom. Luhan asked in surprise, when did you get here? You follow me all the time. It worries me. I don't remember your father being like this. Enya happily asked, Is that your child? Yes, I started attending the Sabbath ceremonies right after coming of age, and now I'm a mother of 3. Luhan, did you say the child's father built the house you're living in? No, that house was built by the second child's father. I had the house even after giving birth to the third, but it's so bad I somewhat regret it. Enya thought, building a house is a common form of confession in Ollie. Even Taein did that. Luhan said again, even so, the third child's father is the best hunter. He brought back baskets full of meat, even though I wasn't showing yet. But this little one ate it all, and that's a big problem. She pretended to joke about her children, but was actually subtly boasting about their fathers. Enya secretly admired her. She's not much older than me, but she's already a mother of 3. In this place, women freely interact with men and bear children. Men only need to fulfill the duties of a father, and the children follow their mother's lineage. Women who can bear children are the objects of attention and affection from all men in the tribe. Amma, where did you say the women attending the Sabbath are from? I heard they are women from Peru. Peru. I heard they have marriage ceremonies there, right? And women only marry one man for their whole life. They only live with one man for their whole life. Oh my God, what is that about? Does that make sense? I heard women from Peru don't attend the Sabbath. Sounds a bit scary, doesn't it? If you only live with one man, what happens if he dies? What if he gets sick or suddenly disappears? What about accidents? They are really brave. While they chatted happily, Enya was lost in thought. A marriage ceremony. I think I've heard of it before. Suddenly, Luhan turned and asked, By the way, Enya, you won't be attending the Sabbath this time, right? No, I don't think I will attend. Even if Taein opposes it, you can't just give up like that. Enya is also a true Ollie maiden, right? It's just one day, why can't you? That's right, Taein can come too. Enya forced a smile and replied, I will ask him. The Sabbath is a grand festival in an important ritual. It honors the worship of Ali, the goddess of fertility and prosperity, as well as the harvest and fodder for livestock from the fields. I know that many encounters are created through this festival, but I have never attended the Sabbath. Suddenly a girl looked at Enya and said, "That's not it." Enya confusedly replied, "Oh my, I'm sorry. It's fine. Since you started, why not pursue it to the end?" Enya thought to herself, "I did it the way I learned from Tan." Suddenly a small hand touched Enya. She looked down at the child with surprise. Looking at the boy's glittering eyes, she looked up around and asked, "Where is your mother?" She reached out her hand thinking, "Is he lost?" Suddenly the child's mother came over, picked him up, and snapped, "What are you doing?" "Ah, I was trying to help him find his mother." "You were trying to touch my child. If he catches a disease from you, what will you do?" Enya trembled and said, "It's not contagious. It's not that kind of disease. Both my mother and sister were normal. I'm the only one in the family who is sick." Suddenly Lu Han stepped forward to comfort her. "I understand, Enya, it's not an infectious disease." Then she turned to say, "Everyone seems tired. We're almost done. Why don't we stop for today?" They immediately left. "All right, let's go. There's a lot to do tomorrow." After everyone had left, Lu Han said, "People are just being extra careful. Too many people died in the plague. I hope their words didn't hurt you." Enya's tears suddenly flowed out. "I'm fine. Thank you, Lu Han." Lu Han smiled and replied, "Thank you. You did well today. But I think I have enough helpers for tomorrow. You understand, right?" "Right. I understand. I will rest tomorrow." "Thank you for understanding. But I'm worried about the father of my third child. He was called to join the project to build a new bridge across the river, and he is having a hard time. Do you think you could tell Tan to help me? Could you speak to Tan so he understands?" "No, I can't. I don't get involved in Tan's business. Even if I went and talked to Tan, it wouldn't help your partner much. I heard that Tan assigned the bridge construction to Akachi. Instead, I'd rather talk to Akachi about this. Or if he doesn't feel okay, I'd rather convey the opinion of his chief physician." Lu Han looked surprised, then said, "Thank you, Enya. As expected, you are as sweet as I heard." Having said that, Lu Han immediately turned and left. Afterward, Enya pondered, "I have no appetite. Did I do something wrong earlier?" She remembered Tan's words, "If you hear anything weird from other women, I won't let it slide." But luckily Tan wasn't there. If he saw what happened, since Tan became chieftain, I've been afraid that if I keep hiding in the house, the negative attention towards us will only increase. So I try to go out more often and mingle with everyone. But all I received were cold stares and indifference. I promised Tan that I would take care of myself while alone. So let's keep it up until he returns. The next day, at the place where the girls worked, Enya walked in and asked, "Excuse me, is there any work for me today? We already chased her away yesterday, but she came again. I'm sorry, but we have enough workers today, so there's nothing to help with. It's fine, you can go home." Enya. Afterward, they ignored Enya and talked amongst themselves. Finally, the Sabbath is coming. I wonder if the expedition team will arrive before it starts. I have to go make clothes to wear for the Sabbath today. Everyone hurry up. There's a mountain of work to finish before Saturday. Later, on the night of the Sabbath, a large bonfire was burning brightly. The sound of drums resonated vibrantly, and couples were together romantically. On Enya's side, she pointed at a stone and said to herself, "I found this one at the beach. I found that one on the hilltop, in a bright moonlit night with a Milky Way above. And the one next to it was found near the rocky area where the hot spring is. On Sabbath nights, when the whole village becomes bustling, I would go out with Tan and pick up pebbles together." She recalled the ceremony back then. Tan annoyedly said, "Damn it, what's so big about this stupid Sabbath? It looks like I'll be up all night. Let's go. I'll show you something beautiful. But everyone says it's very dangerous outside the village. There are no adults watching us, so who cares? I know this place better than anyone, so don't worry." Every year at this time, I would sit on Tan's back and wander around the mountains, rivers, rocky areas, and other places nearby. "Tan, what is this?" "Ah, that." Tan answered everything I asked, from the names of birds and monsters and their uses, to the names and uses of trees and flowers. She remembered asking Tan before, "Who did you learn those things from?" He fell silent for a long while, then replied, "From my family." Enya just let out an "ah" and didn't ask anything else. Since that day, I no longer asked Tan about his family. We used to play together when we were young. Every time I was sad because I lost, Tan would intentionally lose in the next game. I want to see Tan. Will he return tonight? Just then, a noise rang out outside. Lasu and Asta were sneaking around the door, whispering, "Shh, be quiet." "Is that it?" "To stand still. Be careful, you keep bumping into me." Enya stood close to the door and realized, this voice is Zu. At this moment, Asta spoke up. "Ahem, Enya, I'm sorry. Are you not sleeping?" Enya replied from inside, "No, but is something wrong? Can you open the door? It's urgent." Enya immediately opened the door, looking at the two girls in front of her. Enya asked, "What are you doing here?" Suddenly, she grabbed Enya's hand tightly and pulled her away. "Stop, this isn't the time for this. Taeyeon is back. Hurry up, he is looking for you." "Wait, are you sure Taeyeon is back?" "I'm telling you he is. He's injured, he's losing blood." Enya stood stunned in shock upon hearing that. "Are you planning to just stand there?" "Tahan Vildi. Taeyeon is injured? Is it serious? We should call a doctor. We'll explain everything on the way. Just follow us." A while later, Enya realized this is the path leading to the large rocky field. I don't think they would bring an injured person to a place with a festival. Now that I think about it, it's full of monsters around here. What should I do? I have to go back, but my legs won't listen. Zu said, "Look at her. Her face is so pale. What if she faints?" "I don't know. Tear her clothes first." "You do it. I don't want to touch her." Enya trembled, thinking, they tricked me, but luckily Taeyeon isn't injured. At this moment, the two of them started grabbing Enya's shirt, then just tore it apart to her astonishment. "Why are you doing this? Please don't do that." Asta smiled maliciously and said, "Stand still. Doing this will help you participate in the Sabbath." Zu also chimed in, "That's right. Even Taeyeon will turn a blind eye for one night." Enya trembled and cried out, "Stop." "Ugh," they said again. "Taeyeon will soon have a new woman, right? You should enjoy this now too." Enya helplessly burst into tears. She tried to resist and bit hard on Asta's hand. She hurriedly pulled her hand back in pain, then shoved Enya hard and shouted, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?" Enya fell to the ground after being pushed. "Asta, your hand is bleeding." At this moment, Enya screamed, "Don't touch me. Try touching me one more time, and I will bite you for real, you bitch." That's why she sits in Taeyeon's tent taking everything. "Let's go." "Zu Allerlicht. I touched something filthy, so I need to go wash my hands immediately." Enya stood up, thinking Taeyeon might arrive there first. "I must get home quickly." Enya was running when she heard a familiar voice, so she froze. "So, did you call her here yet? Did Asta and Zu leave already?" I was sure she'd never come, but Luhan spoke again. "I told you she would keep the explanation short. She's been coming to the workshop lately to save face, so it makes sense. But still, isn't that a bit pathetic? Moreover, burning all the products she made. What a waste. But if she doesn't say anything, who will know? We're just being careful." Enya stood behind a tree, surprised, wondering, How could this be? I believed that if I persisted, one day everything would be better than it is now. But they burned it all to ashes. Lost in thought, she suddenly bumped into someone. I'm sorry." The young man smiled and asked, "Everyone is having fun. Why are you here all alone?" "Now that I think about it, I've never seen your face before. Are you alone today?" "Oh, is this your first time participating in the Sabbath?" Enya trembled and said, "Don't touch me. Don't be afraid. I'm just helping." He reached out towards Enya to do something, when suddenly a girl walked up and asked, "Axon, what are you doing?" He turned around and said, "Chiron, look, she seems to be new here. I don't think she likes it. Let her go." "Hey, where's the group you came with? I'll take you there." Suddenly, Axon said, "Wait a minute. The more I look at her, the more I like her. Really, her skin is so soft. Even though she looks like she wouldn't fit in one arm. Still, Enya couldn't help but feel anxious. She told herself, I have to speak up, so she shouted loudly, I'm not participating in the ritual. Just then, a voice rang out, Damn it. Hey, Axon. He turned around and exclaimed, Oh, what is it? That voice belonged to none other than Taeyeon. He trembled in fear. Why is Taeyeon here? It can't be. I really didn't know. I didn't know this woman was your person, my lord. Enya trembled and said, Taeyeon, I'm fine. Let's go home. Taeyeon immediately picked her up, then ordered, throw them in the dungeon first. Chiron hurriedly explained, Wait, Taeyeon, I have nothing to do with this. Axon tried to justify himself. I only intended to take her back to her group. Please, Taeyeon, that's the truth. I'm innocent. Believe me. But Taeyeon didn't say a word and carried Enya away. Back in the room, Taeyeon shouted, Why? Why were you there? What are you wearing? Tell me. Enya, what did those bastards do to you? Is it possible? Did he touch you? Enya squeezed her eyes shut, thinking, I'm scared. Taeyeon continued to yell and question her. Please, Enya, say something. If you don't, I'll go insane from anger. Do you know how much I restrain myself from slitting those bastards' throats? Should I go eliminate them right now? Enya hurriedly stopped him. Don't do that, Taeyeon. I'm Euphine. It's not what you think. The truth is, she thought, Luhan asked Asta and Zhu to do these terrible things to me. I was ignored by everyone every day while you were away. I realized that all my efforts were in vain. At this, Taein hugged her tightly. Inia, what should I do with you? Inia returned his embrace. She replied, just stay like this and don't make me think about anything. The next day, Inia woke up. A girl spoke up, asking, you're awake? How do you feel? Inia called out in surprise, Ihida, Taein told me not to wake you. Now drink this. Inia took the bowl of medicine and drank it immediately. After drinking, she exclaimed, bitter. Ihida smiled and said, although it doesn't taste good, it's good medicine for women. Taein said that and then ran off to get candy. Inia blushed, thinking he remembers. Now that I think about it, I haven't seen Taein. Oh, Taein went out. I see. Does Taein look angry? I'm not sure. Taein always looks unhappy. Did he say where he was going? He went to inspect the newly built settlement for the Peruvian women. That's right. What on earth happened yesterday? Elder Piach said something about seeing Taein near the pharmacy with murderous eyes. Inia thought, last night, she remembered the events of last night and was startled. It can't be. Tahan. She sprang up and said, Ihida, I'm going out for a moment. What is it? Inia searched while thinking, I've never seen these people before. Are they all Peruvian women? Why is everyone gathered like this? Suddenly, someone saw her and asked, Inia, how did you get here? What will you do if Taein sees you here? Inia looked up and replied, Regatta, I'm looking for Taein. I'm worried about what happened yesterday. He sighed and said, I will handle this matter, so go home quickly. Taein is busy today, so it's hard to meet him. Suddenly, Inia's expression turned panic-stricken. Wait a minute, what is that sound coming from inside? Inia, that's not something worth watching. Suddenly, Inia's eyes widened in shock as she heard a girl scolding and beating Luhan. You caused trouble during the Sabbath. You're not a child anymore. Inia called out, Serbia. Inia, what are you doing here? Serbia, the daughter of Harel, the greatest elder of Aquili. Serbia, I think there is some misunderstanding. She immediately asked, what misunderstanding? I'm simply punishing these women who caused trouble during the Sabbath, just as the chieftain directed. Inia looked at Luhan's group and thought, Taein knows everything. Serbia spoke again. As the chieftain ordered, I said no one was allowed to enter while my father punishes these people. How did you get in here? Serbia, this matter involves me. I am the one from whom they need to beg forgiveness. Not you. Are you challenging the chieftain's orders now? Inia hurriedly replied, it's not that. I am the one they wronged. I am asking for your permission to let me deliver the punishment myself, even if it means I have to enforce it. Moreover, Luhan is pregnant. What if something happens to the child? I beg you, please stop. Serbia helplessly held her forehead and said, I won't be held responsible for what is about to happen. At this, Inia went to stand in front of the three of them. Perhaps you think that you will never fall into a situation like mine, but how can you be sure? I will not dirty my hands by taking revenge on you. Even if it's not me, someone else will take revenge on you in the future. Luhan heard this, frowned, and glanced away. Zhu tried to comfort. Asta, don't cry. Regatta spoke up to remind her, Inia, it's really time to go home. But just then, a voice rang out. Inia. Inia turned around and was shocked. Among those tied up was Axon from that night. Regatta said, Inia, you know Taein well. I'm glad it just ended like this. They think so too. Having said that, he thought to himself, Taein is the most rational person in the group, but he always loses his composure when it involves Inia. I don't understand why he cares about this woman so much. But suddenly he froze. That is, the woman standing next to Taein. She is the daughter of the Peruvian leader. At that moment, Taein glanced over. Regatta gasped this. Taein walked over. Inia saw this and couldn't help but worry. He didn't say a word but immediately threw her over his shoulder. She shouted in embarrassment, Put me down, Taein. She tried to struggle. No, put me down. The red-haired girl, standing nearby, stared at her. She looked pensive with a scrutinizing gaze. Inia continued to resist. She punched Taein's back and screamed, Put me down, Taein. Please put me down. Taein frowned in annoyance, then finally put Inia down. I clearly told Ihida not to let you go out. Why did you come here when your body isn't well? Why did you come here when your body isn't well? Inia pointed towards the men being escorted away. I came out in case this happened. Taein, these people didn't do anything wrong. They just happened to meet me last night. Taein asked angrily, How can I believe that? It doesn't matter if they were unlucky or if it was an accident. The important thing is that they touched your body, and I saw it. Those who commit serious crimes will be punished according to the laws. She raised her hand to Tan's face. Please don't do this, Tan. That is enough, okay? He brushed her hand away. I already warned them. He spoke coldly and firmly. Disrespecting you is disrespecting me. They were the ones who started this war. I have no intention of sparing them. Enya trembled and called Tan. Suddenly, she clutched her stomach and cried out, ugh, then stumbled and fell, unable to stand. Tan shouted in panic. Enya! Seeing blood at Enya's feet, Tan screamed, Piach! Call Piach! A moment later, Piach arrived to examine Enya. She announced, it's menstrual blood, not a miscarriage. Tan frowned and asked, are you sure? You know better than anyone. This morning you even called Ihida, and she told you that Enya's menstrual cycle was about to begin. That was just a precaution. And don't forget that the terms of my appointment as chieftain included the right to call you at any time. Tan, I am old now. My power is fading. My senses are gradually becoming weak, and even my eyes are starting to blur. I'm trying to pass on all my medical knowledge to Ihida and rest in peace. But why do people keep calling me? Well, then just act like a senile old woman and only walk around in circles. Do you think I don't know that you're secretly caring for the sick in the far fields? This is why people say one shouldn't adopt a black-haired monster. The child won't be able to develop properly. Even if it does develop, this body won't be able to withstand it. I don't remember asking that. Enya's body has a different energy from other Aquili women. In addition, her menstrual cycle is irregular, and she has miscarried too many times. It's been even more difficult since the time she gave birth prematurely. Tan recalled the past. He felt pain witnessing Enya give birth prematurely. He said, I know having a child will be very difficult, but Enya wants a baby. I don't know how to persuade her. I really don't know the way. Well, then continue. Night came. Tan prepared a basin of water and a towel. He was wiping her feet when he looked up. He suddenly saw Enya open her eyes and wake up. He immediately said, sorry, are you awake? It's still the middle of the night. Just go back to sleep. Seeing Tan wiping her feet again, she shyly said, Tan, I can do it myself, don't? She blushed in embarrassment, thinking, why did I start bleeding unexpectedly when everyone else only has it once a month? Tan wrung out the towel and turned to ask, do you still feel unwell? She hurriedly waved her hands and replied, it doesn't hurt anymore. Really? Suddenly, Tan walked over and held out a small bag. I know you don't really like these things, but I couldn't help it because it made me think of you. Inside was a shimmering bracelet. He gently took Enya's hand. Even if you don't like it, just try wearing it. Looking at the bracelet on her hand, she exclaimed, I like it very much. Hearing that, a soft smile appeared on Tan's lips. Then he gently said, it's beautiful, Enya. He wrapped his arm around her shoulder, his face slowly lowering, their lips drawing closer to share a sweet kiss. The next morning, Ihida entered Enya's room and spoke. Enya, Tan told me to check on you. How are you feeling? Come in, Ihida. I feel much better, thanks to you. Are you tired having to come here every time? Do you want something to drink? Don't worry about that. What if I stay here too long and run into Tan? Is she still afraid of Tan? Is there a problem? Tan isn't that scary. Well, I just intended to check on you and leave. I also have a few things I want to say. All right, then have a seat. Oh, I have some barley brown rice cakes here. Do you want to try some? Ihida drooled. Should I stay a while? Then the cakes were brought out by Enya. Ihida picked up a cake and said, the chieftain looks angry again. He's not angry. He just has a lot of things to worry about. Even if he doesn't say a word, he is truly grateful for what you do. You always try to check on my condition. Ihida frowned. Really? The more I eat, the more delicious it is. Really? Tan made them. Ihida startled, trembling and screaming. The chieftain made this? That's so weird. I can't imagine the chieftain making barley brown rice cakes. Anyway, like I said, Tan trusts you a lot. The chieftain trusts me. Suddenly, Ihida froze. Enya, what's on your neck? Were you bitten by a bug? Should I go get some herbs? No need, I'm fine. Let me see. I'll apply some medicine for you. Enya blushed in embarrassment. Well, it's just a red rash. Really? Is there medicine for that too? No, I'm really fine. It will fade soon. But just in case, I'll tell the chieftain about it. What if he scolds me later? Enya changed the subject. Didn't you say you had something to tell me earlier? All right. Enya, you haven't met those girls from Peru yet, have you? Enya remembered that red-haired girl. Peru, that means... Ihida added. This morning, the daughter of the Peru leader called the Aquili women together and suddenly demanded they be polite to the Peru women. Then she asked who the chieftain's wife was. And when Sepia explained the customs of the Aquili people, she said that we are a tribe with barbaric customs. However, She said she would understand it for Taeyeon's sake. She is very arrogant. It's hard to listen to her speak. Then she asked where Taeyeon's wife was. Taeyeon's wife? That's right. When Sepia told her that he has no wife, the expression on her face looked very strange. She said she heard Taeyeon has a wife who has been with him for a long time. She even asked if the wife had any children. And if so, how many of Taeyeon's children does she have? Enya asked curiously, What happened after that? Ihida replied, I don't understand what happened. They stared at each other in silence for a long time, and then it just ended. Anyway, that woman will probably come to see you today. She's going to visit the chieftain's house herself. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Ihida asked, What? Who is it? Enya stood up and said, Let me check the door. As soon as Enya opened the door, it was the daughter of the Peru leader. She smiled and asked, Are you Taeyeon's partner? Ihida thought in panic. I can't believe she's actually here. She turned to speak to the person behind her. I will speak with this woman. So call me immediately if anyone comes. Ihida called out worriedly, Enya, Ihida, I had a lot of fun today. Can you go tell Taeyeon that I'm fine? Don't mention anyone else. Ihida replied, All right. Having replied, Ihida left in anxiety. At this moment, the red-haired woman looked at Enya and said, I heard you weren't feeling well, but you look better than I thought. I'm sure you've heard about me. Nice to meet you. I am Abisag. She took her hand. Ah, yes. I heard you have lived in Taeyeon's house for a long time, right? Enya asked in surprise, How do you? She smiled and continued. I also heard that when a man and a woman live together for a long time, they treat each other as husband and wife. Of course, there's a difference depending on whether they have children or not. Hearing that, Enya looked worried. Your name is Enya, right? If you don't mind, can we talk inside? She stepped in and exclaimed, This house is so beautiful. I'm always amazed by how people live in Aquili. Enya asked, Why did you come to see me? Let me be straight. Taeyeon is the savior of Peru. I think his strength and his ability to unite people. That is why I want to marry Taeyeon. I will marry Taeyeon, and together with him, turn this place into the most prosperous land. To do that, I must win the upcoming war against Agon. Enya panicked and said, Wait a minute. What do you mean? War against Agon? The desert area bordering the vast plains, where a powerful nomadic tribe lives around the Giganta region. The lair of the giant monster, the molting serpent Agon. They have a long history of conflict with the Great Plains. What do you mean by war? Why must you marry Taeyeon? Oh my, Enya, don't worry too much. I will overlook the fact that Taeyeon has Enya as a concubine. This was discussed when my father first proposed the marriage to Taeyeon in preparation for the unification of Peru and Aquili. Of course, Taeyeon refused before he even heard the whole story. Wait a minute, what is going on? What do you mean by the unification of Peru and Aquili? You haven't heard that the Great Plains will be united to prepare for the upcoming war against Agon? Is Taeyeon going to war? Suddenly, the door burst open. Taeyeon walked in with an angry expression. He shouted, Are you crazy? He quickly walked in and pulled Enya behind him, then glared at Abisag. When did you get here? She smiled calmly and said, Hello, Taeyeon. I knew I wouldn't be able to see you unless I did this. You didn't plan to hide it from her, did you? When you agree to the unification of our tribes, there will be no weapon more powerful than my marriage to you. I thought you would at least tell the girl you live with. He glared and growled. Shut up, Abisag. Apologize to my wife right now. She exclaimed, Wow, then stood up and said haughtily, Isn't Aquili a tribe without a marriage system? Besides, you don't have children, do you? You are completely wrong about one thing. If marriage is something established by a child, then this woman has been my wife for a long time. Even if that's true, my will won't waver. Come see me when you change your mind. Taeyeon cast a sharp glance at her. At this moment, Enya said, Taeyeon, let me go now. Seeing he still didn't let go, she pushed hard. Let me go. Tears involuntarily streamed down her face. Taeyeon said remorsefully, I'm sorry, Enya. I didn't want to make you worry. It is a matter of survival for the whole tribe. I also needed some time to make a decision. Enya thought to herself, I know Taeyeon doesn't need my approval to decide this. After Elder Connie was injured and stripped of power, Taeyeon became the de facto leader of Aquili. And now Taeyeon's decision is basically Aquili's decision. Thinking that, she spoke up, Just don't hide anything from me. He hugged her tightly. Of course, I promise. Enya You've heard of the Giganta region in the Argonne Desert, right? Yes, that's where the molting serpent lives. You went on a reconnaissance mission recently. Tayan said, that's right. It is said that the molting serpent, a species thought to be extinct, has recently awakened and completely devastated the area around Giganta. Argonne, a nation unable to resist, finally begged for help from Peru and Aquili. Enia caressed Tayan's callous skin, thinking this scar was also caused by an Argonne soldier. He continued, of course, we refused Argonne's request. Peru did the same. It seems that those who always plotted to take over the Great Plains have encountered a difficult situation this time. It turns out the tribes in the Argonne Desert are uniting to build an army. Naturally, their purpose is to find a new refuge after their base was destroyed by the molting serpent. For example, the pastures of the Great Plains. So we need to do something. That is why, when Peru proposed a merger first, Enia pondered, I thought he was busier than usual, but I didn't expect it was because of war preparations. She buried her head in Tayan's chest and hugged him. If Tayan joins the war and gets injured, if I don't see Tayan anymore then, suddenly, Tayan laid her down on the bed. Don't worry, Enia, as long as I am here, no one can hurt you. The next day, some young men and women in the village were moving wooden crates containing something. Gathering herbs nearby, Ihida exclaimed in surprise, Enia, look over there, it's a jipan. Abisag brought a monster from Peru, but it is a low-level monster. Recently, all men have been mobilized to chop wood. They are planning to build a defensive wall around the village area. Although they are busy preparing for war, Sepia and Abisag seem to always compete for power whenever they meet. There is no end to this tension. I guess the reason why all the forces in the Great Plains are gathering in Aquili is because of Tayan's reputation. But anyway, the most important thing in the story is herbs and medicine, right? Enia, since you agreed to help, work hard. I understand. A while later, we're back. Ihida showed off her achievement here. What Enia picked is completely different for what Ihida picked. Piach scolded Enia. You definitely have no talent. Ihida hurriedly comforted. It's okay. No one picks it right on the first try. Piach spoke again. Did you also say that a strategy meeting will be held today? I heard that every force is arguing because of differences in their viewpoints. Enia thought to herself, if it's every force. Enia recalled earlier. Many people from a Novana tribe came to the Aquili Plains. Everyone said, who would have thought that the Novana people, who live in a mysterious forest, would be involved in the war? I know. Has the chieftain's reputation spread even there? And Abisag said, I was the one who contacted the Novana forest forces. Dahan, I should have warned you not to get close. Suddenly, a woman looked at Enia without taking her eyes off her. Enia felt that gaze glued to her. She thought, it's so uncomfortable. Why does she keep staring at me like that? Tayan perceptibly noticed, shielding Enia as he spoke. I guess people greet each other by staring in Novana. Apuruji. My name is Kian, chief of the Novana Forest Tribe. I thought the Novana Forest Tribe was a completely independent tribe that did not interfere in the affairs of other tribes. I don't know exactly what your goal is, but regardless, I look forward to working with you in the future. We will try our best, but things haven't been right since the whereabouts of the daughter of the forest bloodline disappeared a few decades ago. Abisag cut in and said, if you speak of the daughter of the forest, you're speaking of the bloodline of the Novana Forest royal family, a bloodline full of mystery. Of course I know. The only bloodline capable of controlling the mist spiders, a disaster-class monster living in the Novana forest. However, since the last daughter of the forest disappeared, we haven't been able to control the mist spiders running rampant, and our home is gradually shrinking. Even without war, Novana Forest is in a difficult situation. Suddenly, a blonde girl approached and introduced herself. I'm late with introductions. I am Iru, Kian's granddaughter. We will help with the war in our own way. So please take care of us in the future. All right, we're going now. See you again. Back to the present. Ihida said, I definitely remember the Novana tribe best. I wonder if they are as arrogant and unruly as they say. Piach continued, because Novana is the only tribe that has preserved its lifestyle from the era when humans and monsters coexisted. Suddenly, a young man walked in and spoke cheerfully. Hello. Everyone asked in surprise, what? Who is this? I heard I could get honey here. Saying that, he suddenly leaned down close to Enia, thinking to himself, just as Kian said, she really looks like us. Enia asked warily, what are you doing? Iru walked in and said, out of the way, Rockin'. Can we get a jar of honey? I'll pay for it now. Piach replied, The honey hasn't been filtered yet. Come back tomorrow morning. Is that so? I understand. Rakan looked at Enia again and asked, above all, you are Enia, right? She put on an annoyed expression and looked back at him. Another person spoke up. You don't need to be so guarded. We're just saying hello. My name is Niatin. I used to be the chief of the Lehijan tribe, which recently allied with Kian's tribe. But now, I am just a member of the Novana Forest tribe. Enia shook his hand. Ah yes. Seeing this, Rakan complained discontentedly. What the heck, Niatin? Are you trying to cut in line? I wanted to shake hands with Enia too. Rakan, don't do you want to ruin Novana's reputation? Don't be so serious. You wanted to meet Enia too, didn't you? Enia thought in surprise. They wanted to meet me? He spoke again. Nice to meet you, Enia. I am Rakan. Oh, she froze. Hey, are you sure this is okay? Did we make a mistake? Why are you asking me? Ihito whispered to Piach. I thought they were an ancient and noble tribe, but this is a bit strange. I've seen all sorts of weird people. Ihita stared intently and evaluated. Now that I think about it, Grandma, don't you think they look like Enia? Suddenly Piach knocked Ihita on the head. Ouch. Are you crazy, Grandma? Why did you hit me all of a sudden? Because you're spouting nonsense. What do you mean they look alike? Enia, don't entertain outsiders anymore. Get back to work. Ah yes. Sorry for disturbing you. We will come another time. See you tomorrow. Enia sat there blankly without answering him. The next day, Enia heard footsteps and turned to look. She saw Rakan had come again. I'm back, Enia. Did you sleep well last night? This is Paika. You two say hello. Hello, Enia. Yesterday you were quite shy because of Rakan, right? Enia replied hesitantly, no, not at all. He teased again, asking, how was last night, Enia? Did you miss me? Ihita immediately shouted, hey, what are you saying? Paika also sighed, calling out Rakan. Enia chuckled internally, it's a bit much, but I don't hate this way of speaking. A moment later he asked Ihita, why are you following us? Look at yourself. How can I rest assured leaving Enia to you? Meanwhile, Paika sat down on a rock. Shall we sit here? Enia sat down and asked, do men and women have to live apart? That's right. Kian leads the female group, and Niatin is in charge of the male group. So men and women rarely walk together like now. Watching the two argue, Enia asked, but is it okay to live without men? Of course. Novana women are all strong and independent, so being alone is no problem. What about children? For children, we wait for spring, like a resting period, right? But lately, the forest hasn't been very stable. I'm really glad to meet you, especially when I have to worry about everything like this. Enia felt happy inside. I've never heard such sweet words before. Suddenly, Paika tapped Enia's hand. Enia, there's a baptism ceremony at the beginning of the month. Can you come? The ceremony? We, the people of the Novana Forest, will lose our survival identity if we leave the place where our umbilical cords are buried. So, Novana people who leave their homeland must undergo this ritual. How can I participate in such an important ritual? Suddenly, Rakan called, Enia, come here and play. Ihita pointed at his face and shouted, hey, where are you looking? I just hit the bullseye, see? Huh, I don't see anything. Enia replied hesitantly, well, let me ask Tan. Tan? Ah, you mean the tribe leader? He looks very strong. I've never seen such scars on my legs. Ah, for someone like that, doing that isn't strange, is it? I'm really excited, Enia. At the chieftain's quarters, Tan gently massaged Enia's legs. She closed her eyes and moaned, Then she called him, Tan, are you still awake? Just a moment and it'll be done. She rubbed her eyes, thinking, Tan must be very tired. Suddenly, she lay back down. Oh, are you okay? It's been a while, so I couldn't control it. My limbs. Sorry for waking you. Go back to sleep. Enia immediately squeezed her eyes shut. Tan looked at her and hesitated. His hand slowly pulled back. Then he lay down beside her and hugged her. Good night, Enia. The next morning, birds were flying in the peaceful sky. Enia woke up and thought in surprise, my ankle feels better. She turned to look beside her. Tan had gone out early. It's been a long time since we reunited, but I haven't even looked at his face properly. All right, I forgot to ask him about that ceremony. And today I think I heard something about war strategy too. Should I visit him for a moment at lunch? But as planned, before Enia went to find Tan, what should I do? I took too long packing lunch, so now I'm going to be late. As Enia opened the curtain to enter, she heard shouting. You aren't performing the ritual for Goddess Aguliyu. From ancient times to now, everyone preparing for battle has performed this ritual. Yet you dare to skip it? Are you okay? Tayan said, this is no longer a gathering just for the Aguliyu people. Do you intend to help us by standing there spouting nonsense? Enia thought to herself, if they're talking about rituals, since ancient times, rituals have been held by the Aguliyu Agiliu people to avoid displeasing goddess Agiliu. She detests those who disturb the world. They believe it is caused by the weak and impure, like mixed bloods and heretics. Sepia shouted again. What do you mean nonsense? Come on, mother. That ragged dog from Tatina doesn't know anything. Nan, Sepia's second son. Hearing that, Enia trembled and thought. What? Abisag spoke up. I see Sepia's point has some merit. Nothing encourages the morale of the troops more powerfully than showing them the righteous bloodline. Tayan frowned and retorted, what we need now is numbers, not blood. Why so tense? Is it because the woman living with you is incompetent? But we can't ask you to bring her out as a sacrificial offering, right? Right, Tayan. Hearing that, Enia trembled and thought. That's right, I'm just an obstacle to Tayan. She quietly left to a deserted place. This is better. If people see this lunch, I won't avoid being humiliated. Suddenly someone approached. Oh, is it Enia? Wow, it's been a while, hasn't it? I was quite worried since I haven't seen you for a long time. Enia called out, in surprise, Nan. She thought, is the meeting over? I have to leave before Tayan comes. Thinking that, she stood up and said, I have to go. He suddenly asked, are you planning to sneak around with the leader today? TSK, but I see he's been very busy lately. So you two probably don't have much time to date, right? What? Is he talking about what happened that time? She recalled that moment. She and Tayan were kissing when they were seen by Nan. At that time, she also realized. At this moment, he moved closer to Enia. I was curious why someone like Tayan would keep you by his side. But after seeing that scene that day, I understand. Enia pushed him away hard. Stop it. The lunchbox fell. Nan asked in surprise. What is this? Suddenly a stone flew from somewhere into his head. Ouch. Who do you think you are? Tisk, sorry. I intended to throw at the snake. Who knew it would hit you? Enia suddenly called. Rockin'. Are you okay, Enia? Nan held his head and asked. You are from the Novana tribe? Don't you know who I am? Who doesn't know the son of the Agiliu envoy? Enia asked. Why did you come here, Rockin'? Intended to take a nap. Who knew I'd see that jerk hovering around you? Seeing the rice on the ground, Rockin exclaimed, Oops, you spilled all the delicacies. No, Ito, Rockin. Suddenly a voice spoke from behind. What are you two doing here? Both immediately turned to look. Tayan asked, I remember today is your day off, Enia. Why are you here now? And these guys? He lowered his voice. Who are they? Enia replied hurriedly. I intended to bring lunch to you, but I was late. On the way back, I sat down to rest and met Rockin by chance. Ah, the Novana tribesman. Don't tell me he touched you. No, we just greeted each other. Enia thought to herself, if I tell him about Nan, something will definitely happen. Everyone is busy preparing for the war. I can't let him worry about these trivial matters. Thinking that, she said, I just thought I'd come see you for a bit and then go back, since I knew you'd be late again today. Tayan blushed, calling Enia Rockin, suddenly being fed dog food, frowned and gaped. Suddenly, there was a loud call. Rockin, I told you to wait at the barracks. Why are you causing trouble again? What are you saying? What trouble? Kian slowly approached Tayan. You must think they are good-for-nothings. You came to pick these two up, Kian. Yes, I also have some important questions. Questions? The woman held out her hand and called, Enia, I want to invite you to the baptism ceremony of the Novana tribe. Enia immediately replied, I refuse. Wait, we didn't say she had to participate. Just coming to watch is fine. You don't understand. Since when are Novana people interested in my woman? He pulled Enia into his arms, then glared warningly. You'd best stop trailing after Enia. Why do you always overreact? Don't you see she's in pain? Tayan, let go of Enia. I didn't expect you to be such a busybody. Hey, why don't we ask Enia? What do you think, Enia? Tayan whispered in her ear. If you don't want to, you don't have to answer. Enia hesitated. I want to attend the baptism ceremony. Then Tayan and Enia returned. She thought to herself, I'm so glad he allowed me to go to the ceremony. I thought I wouldn't be able to go. Earlier, Vekan had said, you really are heartless. You rest while Enia has to work herself to the bone. Enia's life revolved around just 2 words, work. Then she goes home and waits for someone who never comes. Then goes to work the next day. Enia hurriedly defended him. Tayan is very busy. Vekan continued, she deserves more rest. Don't you think so? Tayan gritted his teeth in anger. Damn it, you can go, but not alone. Tell Rigata to go along to protect you. Listen clearly. If anything happens to her, or if you plot to harm her, I will crush your tribe, which is already on the verge of extinction. Back to the present. Is he angry? I didn't expect things to turn out like this. She stammered. Tayan, The rice? Did you bring it? Let's eat then. No, it must be cold. Let me make something else. She thought. The food fell on the ground. How can we eat it? Taein raised his hand and gently touched her face. Enya, you've been working hard lately, haven't you? I keep coming home late, so we can't eat together. Is that why you keep going back to those Novana people? Ah, he's not angry. He's worried about me. He took Vekin's words to heart, so he's worried someone will come between us. But there's no need to worry, because in my heart, there's only him. Thinking of this, she was moved to tears. Taein froze, confused. He said, it's okay. If you don't want to, then never mind. She thought, is it really okay? I can't see his face, so I'm not sure. A few days later, Enya cheerfully greeted them. Vekin, Yeru, long time no see. How are you, Enya? Who's that guard? What's his name? Regatta. I'm following to protect Enya. Have you ever heard of the Novana baptism ceremony? Regatta replied, yes. I also heard the Novana tribe is full of weaklings. Once they leave the forest, they wither and faint. What? Hey, that's enough. Vekin flexed her biceps. Oh, look at this. Want to see who's stronger? Novana forest warriors fear no one. How silly. Regatta silently pursed his lips. A moment later, he glanced at Enya. And here I thought they were some mysterious ancient tribe. But this person has ruined that image. I wish I hadn't met them. What? What do you mean by that? Are you ignoring me? How dare you ignore a noble warrior like me? After that, Enya and Regatta were led to a place that was beautifully decorated. Some people were setting up for the ceremony. Enya was surprised and thought, oh, they plan to hold a ceremony here? Even if this is Aguli's forest, it feels strange. Yeru said excitedly, look over there, Enya. Aren't you coming, Vekin? This ceremony is separated by gender, women first, then men. At this moment, Yeru had streaks of color painted on her face by the chief. Then Chief Kian raised her hands high toward the moon to begin the ritual. She waved her hand toward everyone, and warm heat from the fire began to spread. Next, they grabbed locks of their hair, used swords to cut them off, and then threw them into the blazing fire. Everyone bowed their heads to feel the warmth. Enya thought they looked like they are praying. Regatta exclaimed, looks very much like an ancient tribe. Suddenly, Enya felt strange. It seems to be heating up. The air is becoming hotter, as if it were summer. It was cold just a moment ago. Suddenly, Regatta turned and asked, Enya, do you feel hot? Yes, it's so strange. Do you feel it too? No, I find it cold tonight. It was cold earlier, but suddenly you seem hot. Over here, Vekin noticed the two's conversation. Yeah, they must have finished the ritual. They whispered happily to each other. The ritual is done, so it's not hot anymore. That's amazing. Suddenly, Enya froze when she saw Vekin approaching. Do you still feel hot? Now that you mention it. No, the heat is gone. Is that so? At this moment, the chief walked over and called Enya. Hey, the ritual is over. We're planning to hold a small party. Will you join us? Enya turned to look at Regatta inquiringly. About that. He said, go ahead, I'm here. Then let's go this way. Vekin asked Yeru, aren't you going? Was Enya okay earlier? Just as the ritual started, she felt hot. Once the ritual ended, she returned to normal, just like a person of the Novana tribe. At this moment, Enya said, I'm fine. Or should I stay in that corner over there? What are you saying? Everyone is waiting for Enya to arrive. Me? They are waiting for me. Of course. Enya looked at the girls and wondered, why are they waiting for me? I'm so nervous. As Enya stepped closer, they all turned to look at her. This pressure made her feel afraid. She lowered her head and thought, if I say I want to go home, Kian will be angry. Suddenly a voice rang out. Enya here. It was Yeru and Pikera waving. Enya happily cried out inwardly, it's Pikera. As she ran over, she unfortunately tripped over a stone. She immediately fell to the ground. She was too ashamed to lift her head. I fell in front of so many people. I don't care if I die. They must be laughing their heads off. But everyone ran over, asking worriedly, Enya, did the fall hurt? Are you hurt anywhere? Someone bring medicine. Call the healer. Enya confusedly replied, I'm fine. Sorry, my legs just wouldn't listen to me. You keep apologizing. Are you okay after falling? Did you trip on a stone? That hateful stone. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Everyone move aside. Let her breathe a bit. Don't crowd around. How many times have I told you not to scare her? Saying that, the chief helped her up. Luckily, your legs are fine. Are you okay? Enya was silent for a moment. She was secretly moved. Everyone is treating me so kindly. She smiled and replied, yes, I'm still fine. Hearing that, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Then Enya is okay. Let's start the party. Oh my, look at her hair. I wish I could get my hair braided too. It looks very different from men's long hair. That's right. I heard there's a man who took the spring oath too. Is it the leader of the Aguli tribe? Enia asked back, spring oath? Yes, it's like our tribe's marriage system. A man and a woman must swear to each other that for the rest of their lives, they won't look at anyone else. They only have children with the person they swore the oath to. Does Aguli have that? Enia replied, no. Yeru stood up excitedly. Of course, freedom like an Aguli is better. Before I had Jasmine, I dated this person and that person. Who knows which man we'll end up with one day? Enia asked, Yeru, you have a child? You didn't know? You're always with me. This is Jasmine, my daughter. Enia thought, she's about my age. I didn't expect her to have such a big child already. Little Jasmine looked at Enia intently and silently praised, so beautiful. Suddenly the child hid behind her mother's back. Are you shy? Ha! Enia thought, why does she look so much like someone I know? Suddenly, the girl next to Enia asked, how old is Enia's child? I don't have children yet. Everyone screamed in surprise. What? I heard you've lived with him almost your whole life. Living with a precious woman like Enia and no children. That leader, he looks like that, but turns out to be impotent. Enia hurriedly waved her hands to explain. Tayan is normal. As for children, she stopped, her hands clutching tight. Pikera spoke up to interrupt the tense atmosphere. Everyone, spring is here, so the weather is quite warm. So, aren't you going to do anything? Anything to increase our tribe's population? While staying at someone else's house and not knowing what to do. I do that every night. What can you do alone? Be quiet. Enia is blushing. Enough. Enia blushed and thought. Every night, the people of the Novana tribe are all open and kind. She seems to be someone who gives her all for her tribe. It's a pity they are gradually disappearing. Suddenly, someone walked over and spoke, interrupting her train of thought. Thank you for worrying about us. Kian walked over with 2 cups of wine in hand. The girls immediately stood up and backed away. Enia hesitated. Sorry, it's okay, we feel the same way. Honestly, if the daughter of the forest were here, things would have been better, and more people would have survived. Is that person that talented? Yes, she isn't an ordinary person. She is a member of the Novana royalty. She sighed. She is the only one who can control the scorpion spiders. Scorpion spiders are monsters living in the deep Novana forest. We need her to be able to live with those monsters, our strongest and coolest enemies. Ah, did I mention that Novana people cannot live anywhere else? If we leave here, we will become exhausted and die. That is why today we must perform that ritual to receive the power of the ancient forest. The blood of the ancient forest is mostly diluted from the blood of the daughter of the forest, so her power is passed down to her descendants. Kian's voice became sad, but we were defeated anyway. I lost my daughter, the daughter of the forest, my last drop of blood. Enia realized inwardly, the daughter of the forest is Kian's daughter. Enia, what's wrong? Don't the Novana people have hope for their homeland? Because I've lived a life of wandering in the forest, not knowing where I will die, I always carry a sense of despair. As a leader, I always teach this to the warriors. But Enia, after coming here for the first time, I have hope again. The chief took her hand. I see hope in you. Hope. I give her hope. What does that mean? Raken suddenly walked over and asked, what are you doing here, Enia? Look at that. It's obvious she's being bullied by you people. What, she runs away? She asked, is the ritual finished? It's done. Come hang out with us. These are just my followers. The young men behind shouted, what? Who did you call your follower? Oh, I give up. I give up, the chief said helplessly. The Legion are like that. The young men are all raised that way. A while later, Enia sat tiredly and thought, everyone is so full of energy. It must be because they just finished the purification ritual, especially Rakan. If you want to rest, go ahead and rest. If you want to go out later, you can come. It's getting late. Should I go home? Suddenly, Rakan knocked on the door. Enia, I came to keep you company. I thought you were busy playing with your friends. Well, yes, but that brat Leroy is annoying me too much. He is my younger brother, but sometimes he acts like he is my older brother. Ah, well, we are twins, so. You and Leroy are twin brothers. Don't we look alike? Now that you mention it, Leroy would be shocked to hear that. The person you see right now is the son of Chief Lehiagen, but he acts like he's the chief himself, only losing to Niatin. That guy is Sigaria, famous for throwing knives with perfect accuracy. No one can dodge them. And Leroy is the fastest runner. And the funniest one among them is me. Suddenly, their eyes were drawn to someone. Hey, Enia thought in surprise. Huh, Yeru, is she going to regatta? Suddenly, Yeru hugged Regatta tight. Oh, she must be really drunk. Raken called out, where's Niatin? Ah, found him. Niatin immediately pulled her away and picked her up. Why are you only here now? I've been looking for you all day. People keep wondering if Jasmine is really your daughter. Your expression is so strange. Don't be mad. How many times do I have to say it? I only have you. Let's go over there and rest. Oh, I don't want to know, Rakan said. Ever since giving birth to Jasmine, Yera hasn't needed any man. But whenever she's drunk, she gets like this. TSK. So embarrassing. Enia thought. I wondered who Jasmine looked like. Turns out she looks like Nyadin. By the way, Enia, actually I have a few things I want to ask you. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. I wonder why you chose a chieftain. Of course, I know he is a talented man. I'm just curious. Enia asked cheerfully, have you ever wanted to spend the spring with a woman? Hi, you're right. In our tribe, the most valuable gift is the lion leopard skin. Did the chieftain give that to you? Enia blushed and replied, Tan built me a house. What? So he won you over just like that? Maybe you don't understand because you live a nomadic life, but for us, settling in one place is quite difficult. There isn't a single corner of the house that Tan's hands haven't touched. I really love that. Not quite convincing, but at least he was sincere. It wasn't just sincerity. He had to work extremely hard to build that house. That's right. Sincerity comes first, plus a woman's influence. When captured by Yeru, even someone as formidable as Nyadin had to cook and pamper her. By the way, everyone is amazing. Enia hit his shoulder. Don't tease me. Suddenly, she felt a sharp pain and cried out. Oh, a moment later the chieftain said, thank you for attending. We were very happy to have you. See you tomorrow. Enia replied happily. Yes. Bayaka said, let's go, let me walk you back. No need. As they were walking, someone ran up to report. The horses have all run off. Hurry and find a place to help. Regatta, what's wrong? The pack horses have gone crazy. The whole herd acted up and ran off at the same time. What? Where's the chieftain? He went to the food storage with the elders. Enia asked Regatta, you have to go immediately, right? The food storage isn't that far. I can get there. Are you sure? Sure, don't worry about me, just go. But I'm not sure. I will be right back. I'm going to, Enia. Yes, thank you for walking with me. A moment later, arriving in front of the food storage, Enia thought to herself, Regatta is also trusted by the people in the tribe. I'm so envious. I wish I could help them too. Has Tan arrived yet? Suddenly, she noticed someone. It was Abisak walking out of the food storage with a girl. She wondered in surprise, why is Abisak coming out of there? I thought outsiders weren't allowed to enter the food storage. Suddenly, Enia remembered what she had said. I intend to make Tan my husband. Don't tell me she has made Tan. Thinking of this, she started and shouted, Tan, are you here? She ran inside and saw Sebia's second son. What is Nanan doing here? He said, my mood isn't good right now. I didn't expect you to be here at this time. Enia felt uneasy. Something is wrong. She turned her head. I have to run. Nanan immediately chased after her. Do you think you can escape me? Meanwhile, on Tan's side, he chased after a horse, then patted its head. Shoo. Sir, the other side is stabilizing as they receive support. This is also the last horse on this side. Leave the rest to us. You said you were going to food storage, right? Then go quickly. All right, I'm counting on you. Tan handed the horse to his subordinate and left. He thought of Enia. Enia, have you been feeling lonely lately? I keep coming home late, so I can't see you much. Nor can we eat together. Her image kept appearing in Tan's mind. I don't know what to do. I didn't want it to end like this. Enia, is life just repeating like this? Just coming home, then waiting for someone who never comes, then go to work again, right? Raken's words bothered him even more. Meanwhile, at the food storage, what the hell is this? Regatta asked, what the hell is going on here? What is all this commotion? Nanan sat crying and groaning. Ugh, it hurts so much. Mom. Regatta noticed Enia's disheveled appearance, along with a red bruise on her arm. Regatta exclaimed helplessly, oh God. Meanwhile, Abisak said, call someone here. Regatta shouted, are you crazy? He denied, I didn't do anything. I was checking the food storage when she came in from nowhere and took off all her clothes smiling. Bayaka immediately retorted, why are you lying so blatantly? Before that, Bayaka went in and saw him pinning Enia to the ground, while Enia was struggling with all her might. Bayaka frowned in fury. He shouted, is your brain made of tofu or what? Then he rushed in and punched Nanan repeatedly. Bayaka continued to recount, I was on my way back to the forest, but I heard a commotion, so I turned back. Then I heard Enia screaming inside. If I had arrived a little later, things might have been worse. He stubbornly said, don't be ridiculous. She is deceiving you all. Abisak, tell them. You were with me the whole time. What are you talking about? I only left the house because I heard about the horses going crazy. Enia thought in surprise, what? Has she only just left the house? I saw her walking out of here. Why is she lying now? Suddenly a voice rang out. What are you all doing here? Hearing that, Enia looked extremely worried. That person was none other than Tan. He frowned, exuding a murderous aura. A moment later, Tan was held back by everyone. Nanan had been beaten black and blue. His mother asked in shock, "Take Nanan to court? That is ridiculous. I am the daughter of Harold, the Grand Elder of Aquili. My husband is Chief Connie. After being hit by that rotten cockatoo, my son is having trouble breathing and chest pain. Why don't you judge the bastard who caused the trouble instead of judging my son?" Tan shouted angrily. "Enia is innocent. Doesn't the noble law state that if a woman doesn't want to be touched, the man cannot touch her? Your son dared to try and rape my woman. Shut your mouth. You did that just because of a lowly woman? It only makes others see that you are unworthy of this chieftain position. I lost my eldest son in the Zerperno War. Even though he knew he would die, he was willing to sacrifice himself for Aquili's victory. He single-handedly distracted the enemy so that you and your wife could live a peaceful life like this. It is thanks to my son's sacrifice for this Aquili. You still intend to punish Nanan? Is my eldest son's sacrifice not enough? No one here has the right to do that to me." Suddenly, Abisak raised her hand and spoke. "I don't want to interfere in internal affairs, but since I was there anyway, allow me to say a few words. Nanan is at fault, but that doesn't mean he intended to rape Enia." Elder Harold immediately said, "Perugia makes a valid point. It is unavoidable for Chieftain Tan to be angry. However, according to Perugia, it was just a threat and nothing actually happened. Moreover, Nanan is already in this state. What more punishment do you want? Right, that's enough. The horse trap incident is already exhausting enough. Let's end it here." Enia blamed herself. "The problem has gotten bigger. It's all my fault." Tan choked a person nearby and lifted him up. "Do you just like spewing nonsense instead of the truth? Killing you would be a waste. You'd just be reborn anyway. When you let me take the seat of chieftain, you promised me, Harold." Many years ago, before Tan became the tribal chieftain, Elder Harold had said, "The coming-of-age ceremony for the Aquili people is a very sacred ritual to recognize someone as an official member of the tribe. Are you asking for a chance for me to organize a coming-of-age ceremony for a girl from the slums?" Tan replied, "I also come from the slums like Enia, and I'm even an outsider. Why can I have it, but Enia cannot?" He frowned and spoke with hidden meaning. "Don't you know the reason? How ridiculous. He keeps making up such ridiculous excuses. I'm truly disgusted by his hypocrisy." At that time, Tan turned to look at Enia. She just lowered her head and replied, "I'm sorry." Back to the present. "What did you say when you gave me the position of tribal chieftain? Harold, didn't you say you would never let Enia suffer humiliation? Or during her coming-of-age ceremony? Didn't we agree on that?" Of course, I still remember what happened back then. But at that time, the chieftain was unconscious from injury, and many other unfortunate things happened at the same time. If you intend to behave like this, then I don't need to keep my promise either. If you do not guarantee Enia's safety according to Aquili law and cut off that brat's limbs or punish him fairly, then I will resign as the tribal leader and commander of the allied forces." Everyone immediately started whispering. What does he mean by giving up his position? What will happen to us? We are about to go on a conquest, aren't we? Elder Harold shouted. How can you say such irresponsible things? You're not just a member of the tribe, but also the leader of the allied forces. And this expedition is only possible thanks to you. Tayan retorted immediately. Then give me what I want. If you continue to talk about responsibility, then you should be the first to uphold it. Enia thought anxiously. Tayan, no, don't do that for me. Outside, Chieftain Novana walked up, but the guard blocked the way. A trial is in session. You cannot enter. We are involved in that matter. Kian walked in and spoke. We are a bit late. The trial hasn't ended yet, right? Enia was secretly surprised. Kian, why are the members of the Novana tribe here? Yera waved excitedly, but seeing Enia's disheveled state, both of them froze for a moment. I'm sorry I couldn't be here with you. I had to bring everyone with me. At least use this to protect yourself. Enia said, don't worry about that. More importantly, what are you doing here? Yera winked mischievously and replied, why? Because we didn't want to leave Novana members alone. Enia thought in confusion. Novana members? At this moment, Elder Harold shouted, what are you doing here? What a rude interference. Outsiders unrelated to this case must leave. Kian said, all the more reason for us to stay here. Enia, she looked at Enia with a gentle smile. I will take this opportunity to reveal an important detail. Enia is a member of our Novana forest, and she is the daughter of the forest, born with royal blood. Enia couldn't help but be surprised and wondered. What? What does she mean by saying, I am the daughter of the forest? Everyone gasped in shock. Is that true? Enia, the daughter of the forest. Tayan turned back in surprise. Suddenly, a voice shouted out, Impossible. That woman comes from the desolate, empty field. But you say she comes from the Neva forest? The daughter of the forest? Why are you making up such lies? As soon as Sebia finished speaking, Bayek confirmed immediately. The words of the chief of the Neva tribe are true. I know that because I was the first one to find Enia 20 years ago, as some of you here know, and I'm very grateful that you turn a blind eye. I used to care for the sick in that empty field. Jibbik, and I heard there was a woman's corpse near that empty field. The dead woman had a distinctive mark on her arm, and now when I look back, it looks exactly like the mark of the Neva forest people. Suddenly the cry of a baby rang out. Wah. Judging by the signs of childbirth, it was clear that the baby was the biological child of the dead woman. That was Enia. Don't lie. Then why was she in that empty field? I entrusted Enia to a young mother who was in debt to me because I didn't have the skills to raise a newborn. However, later, when the problem with one of Enia's legs was discovered, it caused a stir. I had no choice but to send Enia to that empty field. Sebia's voice began to tremble. That is ridiculous. Enia had been listening to everything. She thought deeply. This is so confusing. Am I really a member of the Neva tribe? And I am the daughter of the forest? What on earth is going on? Kian spoke up. Yes, I am sure that explanation is sufficient. From now on, all of Enia's safety and rights no longer belong to Aquili. She is now the responsibility of the Neva forest tribe. She belongs to our Neva forest. From now on, the duty of protecting Enia will be assigned to the Neva forest. Furthermore, any insult directed at her will be interpreted as an insult to our entire Neva forest. Tayan immediately retorted, Who dares to assert their rights over her in front of me? Enia is my granddaughter, the descendant of the daughter of the forest whom we lost 20 years ago. This is not just about me, but the fate of those of the same bloodline of Neva. Don't speak such riddles anymore. Enia is mine, regardless of whether Enia has Neva blood or is the daughter of the forest. The truth remains unchanged. He turned to Enia, then immediately picked her up. He felt Enia trembling. He looked at her for a moment, then decided to leave. Suddenly Abisak spoke up. This is an opportunity, a great opportunity to possess a skull spider. Enia cried out inwardly. Impossible. Abisak spoke again. Think about it. The skull spider is the only true enemy that can stand against the Argon viper. Otherwise, why would we have to wage this war? The reason why my blood relative, Perugia, merged with Aquili was to fight against the Argon of the desert that is threatening this fertile land. If Enia can make contact with the skull spider and control it, we could also win this war. Elders, this is a God-sent opportunity. You must seize this precious chance. Elder Harold immediately agreed. I'm sure of it. The person next to him also chimed in. This has brought us unexpected power. We need to send word to the Allied forces right now. Just as he finished his sentence, an arrow flew right past his face. Elder Harold was startled and fell off his chair. What the hell? This crazy woman. Kian drew another arrow. Do you people have no brains? How dare you exploit our member to satisfy the selfish interests of the Allied forces? I will not tolerate this. Abisak said, if this situation continues, we will not be able to maintain the alliance with the Neva forest anymore. That wouldn't be good for you and Enia at all, would it? Hearing this, Regatta immediately looked at Tayan. He frowned and cast a sharp glance towards him. Enia anxiously called out, Tayan. Suddenly, he snatched the torch from the person standing there. His overwhelming aura made everyone terrified. Abisak's voice trembled with fear. What are you? Why couldn't anyone move? Tayan remained silent with a dark expression as he approached her. Tayan, calm down. I didn't do it out of personal feelings. I truly want our army to win. She collapsed with a thud. Gasp. Tayan held the torch close to her. His cold voice rang out. Prick up your ears and listen carefully. I will tear apart and incinerate anyone who dares to take Enia from me. Abisak trembled, turning pale with fear. The atmosphere around them became extremely tense. Suddenly, an urgent voice rang out. My lady, Lady Sebia, something has happened. No, this isn't the time. Where is Lady Sebia? Lady Sebia, Connie, Chief Conti, has passed away. Sebia was stunned upon hearing this. Elder Harold also shouted in agitation. What? The chief? The chief is dead. No, impossible. Wait, if he is dead, then the next chief isn't. Tayan immediately smirked cunningly. Then he turned to look at Elder Harold. He let go of the torch in his hand. Tayan's gaze shifted to Sebia and her son. Suddenly her eyes went wide in shock. Red blood splattered everywhere. Nanan collapsed right next to her. Taein spoke up. The alliance remains as it is now. However, if there's still people talking about using my woman for war or trying to alienate me from any force, I will use your very bodies to make you realize that what just happened was not cruel treatment at all. Then Taein pulled Enya back to the room. As soon as they returned, he pushed her against the wall. Then he kissed her lips fiercely. After a while, Taein let go. He kissed down Enya's neck and then slowly sat down, making Enya call out in surprise. Taein, his hand began to slip inside her dress. Enya could only stand still at his actions. Her face flushed red. Suddenly she remembered Kian's words. Since coming here for the first time, I am filled with hope. And Sibia's words. You are becoming sentimental just because of girl? You're showing that you're not qualified to be a leader. At this point, Enya was gasping for breath. The moans became more rapid. Those words kept echoing in her head. Enya is a member of the Neva Forest, and the daughter of the forest, carrying the royal dragon lineage. A great opportunity to possess a skull spider. At this point, she shouted, "Tahan!" He stopped and looked up at her. Suddenly, she slumped down. "Sorry, I was too rushed." Wait a moment. Unexpectedly, she hugged Taein tightly. "Do it. Right now, I don't want to think about anything else." Taein was a bit surprised, but very quickly he pressed her down. Her pants were also removed by him. Just like that, the two of them experienced a moment of intense sweetness together. Afterward, Taein fell asleep. Enya pondered silently. "I can't sleep at all. What should I do now?" Suddenly she sat up, startling Taein. He called out, "Enya, are you okay? Did I force you too much?" "It's not that. It's just..." "Taein, you know what? Do you think I could get a skull spider?" Taein immediately turned his face away and said, Stop it. You're tired right now. Don't think about useless things anymore. It's futile. The Aragon expedition will start in 3 months. I'm not sure if I can do it or not. But first of all, if you discuss it with Kian," Taein interrupted. "Are you crazy? Didn't you see the reaction earlier? And yet you still say such things." She replied, "I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this for you." Taein has always thought of my safety. I completely agree with your opinion, because I believe your judgment is correct regarding my safety. I have always believed so, but I also want to protect you, to give you some strength. Taein shouted, "Stop it. I will handle that. You don't need to do anything." The bride asked gently, "Why?" She knocked over the cup of water. "Why won't you let me do anything? I know my proposal is ridiculous, but there is still something I can do. How long must I sit still? I know I'm not reliable at all, but don't ignore me like that." Taein paused and asked, "I'm ignoring you. You are the one who didn't tell me about the Neva Forest people or anything at all. I was trying to figure out if you were in contact with them without my knowledge. And what about that bastard Nanan? How do you think I felt when I found you in the storehouse? Why didn't you tell me this would happen? Am I that unreliable? It's not that. Enya stopped, thinking to herself, something is wrong. I didn't intend to talk like this. Where we just blame and hurt each other. Why do we end up like this? After a moment of silence, Taein spoke gently. "Enya, look at me." But she still avoided looking up at him. Taein pressed his lips together tightly. Then he sat down and said, "Enya, listen to me. Now and forever, I will never compromise on your safety and security again. Just me alone is enough to sacrifice for this tribe." He pressed her down again. "This time I will definitely protect you. I won't lose you again. That is so cowardly. If you say it that way, I can't do anything. Sometimes I hate you so much. I can't do anything about it, even if you hate me." And so both of them continued to exchange sweet kisses. The night of the full moon passed in the blink of an eye, and a completely new system was established in Aquili. I worked at the pharmacy during the day without communicating with anyone, and spent time with Taein at night. Taein said, "Promise me that you will stay here, that you will stay by my side. No matter what happens, you will not follow anyone else." "Answer me, Enya." I mentioned the story of the daughter of the forest many times, but every time Taein's reaction was the same. He did not hide his morbid obsession, and he received a promise from me 2 weeks before the expedition. Enya woke up looking tired. "Phew, I'm so tired," Taein called out. "Enya, the ceremony will start soon, so get ready." She asked in surprise, "Ceremony? What ceremony?" Taein revealed, "It is our wedding ceremony. The wedding ceremony will begin right now. The bride and groom will quench their thirst with the sacred holy water placed in front of them. The holy water symbolizes the responsibilities and obligations of the two towards marriage." Taein immediately picked it up and drank it down. People standing behind whispered, a deal in which the chief merged with Perugia and introduced their wedding to Aquili. I heard that he was very adamant about performing the ritual before going on the expedition. But does the wedding atmosphere necessarily have to be like this? Nothing will happen, right? Sure. Watch your mouth. Do you want to end up like Nanan? Hearing that, he gritted his teeth in anger. Ahem. Bride, please drink the holy water placed in front of you. Bride, please drink the glass of holy water. But Enia remained motionless. She thought to herself, what is the meaning of this ceremony? We have lived together for a lifetime. Instead of holding such an elaborate ceremony, in those days, it would have meant even more. Days where it was just the two of us together. A scene of just the two of us appeared. She ran quickly to Taeyeon's side. Though tired, she still smiled happily every time she looked at him. Her face flushed red again. Taeyeon also looked at her with affectionate eyes. He lifted her up and spun her around in the air. Then both of them picked up the flowers fallen on the ground. And just the two of them shared a moment of immense happiness. At this point, she instinctively picked up the cup of holy water. She was secretly surprised. I hadn't even realized it, yet my hand had already... She turned to look at Taeyeon. She silently told herself, drink it. It seems he is trying to say that. The man from that time, that is the person standing next to me right now. Suddenly, Taeyeon snatched the cup of holy water and brought it to his mouth to drink. Enia frowned in surprise upon seeing this, but immediately her lips were claimed by him. Just like that, the holy water was passed to Enia's mouth to the surprise of everyone. Taeyeon slammed the cup down. Please proceed quickly. Elder Harold hesitated. Now I pronounce you husband and wife. 2 weeks later, Taeyeon led his army to attack Giganta. Enia stood behind, silently praying, please take care. The village, without a chieftain and army, was largely divided into 3 factions. The former faction of Aquili, led by Sibia, an immigrant faction centered around Perugia that had merged, and the remaining faction centered around Piash Pharmacy. I don't know how it is elsewhere, but fortunately, there are more people here. This place is always short of labor. Suddenly, an urgent voice rang out. Aunt Piache, we are in big trouble. The plague, the bubonic plague. It seems there was a plague before that. Taeyeon called out, Enia, do not mind those things. Take care, eat well, and sleep well here until I return. After that, everything will be fine. At that time, Enia thought to herself, Taeyeon is the one going to those dangerous places. Perhaps he is a good person. She held his hand. I wish you a safe journey. Taeyeon looked at her for a moment. Then he kissed her lips sweetly. Back to the present. The plague. It seems there is a plague outbreak. The plague has engulfed Aquili, whether Aquili people or Perugia people. This disease drowns them all. Of course, the people of the Novana forest are no exception. Over here, Ihita froze when she heard a scream. Don't touch my son. This is all your fault. This happened because you brought back a bottle of wine from an empty field. Ihita stepped forward and shouted, what are you doing? Enia hurriedly explained, I don't have the plague. Even after spending a lot of time in the empty field, I never got it. Besides, the wound on this leg was not caused by a wine bottle. Please believe me. The whole room suddenly became tense. Ihita shouted, you disgusting bastards. How can you be rude to the person who risked herself to treat you like that? After all that, are you still human? Madame Piache shouted loudly, stop it for me. Everyone fell silent and turned to look at her. Enia does not have the plague. As a doctor, I guarantee that. Why are you bringing up something that happened years ago? If this continues, I won't stay silent anymore. Later, Enia was drying herbs when suddenly there was a call. Enia, Bayaka said I heard about it. You mean those Aquili people who made a scene are causing trouble again? Those spoiled bastards, should I go scold them? If things aren't okay, I'll kick them out of the temporary camp. Enia hurriedly said, don't do that. I think I should go to the second camp and change bandages. Suddenly a voice interrupted. I will do it so you can rest. Please eat something. I see you haven't eaten anything. Enia turned and called, Reikan, you'll collapse before the chieftain arrives. Ihita grumbled from behind, hey, don't stop and block the way, will you? Reikan, walk faster, it's heavy. He walked away wearily and let out a long sigh. Suddenly Reikan took the jar right out of Ihita's hands. Then perhaps you should go to the camp. If you wanted to listen, you would have heard me long ago. I said it before. Reikan is right. Enia, rest a bit. I'll go to the second camp. I'm really fine. That's right, rest up. You won't die if you rest for a moment. It's not like you don't trust me, right? Enia stammered in response. It's not possible. So trust me and rest, okay? Bayaka sat down next to her and said, besides, there are many really bad rumors spreading. Bad rumors? There are rumors that this plague has the same symptoms as the leprosy that occurred decades ago. I guess the host survives and spreads it. Leprosy happened in Aquili decades ago. A disease that causes the whole body to rot and eventually requires amputating some body parts to survive. Aquili remembers the fear of that time, clearly. The atmosphere isn't quite normal. People are going crazy desperately trying to find victims to bite and tear apart. So we will need to increase protection even more. What? Even from here, Bayaka and Raken have been working and taking care of me. 3 weeks ago, Enya, no matter what others say, you're still the daughter of the forest. Remember that as the daughter of the forest, you always have the chance to join us. Don't forget the choice to join us. As the daughter of the forest who is always valuable, we always support you. What the Novana Forest has given me is truly immense. And I also have Regatta, whom Tayan left by my side. Regatta stayed here to protect me on Tayan's orders. He doesn't seem to consider it shameful, but honestly, I don't know what he was thinking when he decided to stay here. Back to the present. Regatta shrugged and said, "It doesn't matter as long as your route doesn't overlap with ours." See? It doesn't matter. Bayaka poked her nose. "Oh, don't underestimate your own importance anymore, Enya, because you are very important to us." Hearing this, Enya's face suddenly flushed red. How can the people of the Novana Forest say such things when looking at me? Just because they are certain that I am truly the daughter of the forest? Come to think of it, they have never treated me coldly. It's as if we are members of the same tribe. Then that woman Sebia found Enya. She said, "Don't misunderstand. As the daughter of the forest, it seems punishing you is too much for me. They are acting as if something happened. What is this? Where are those bitches who wanted to protect you now?" Enya said, "You're crazy. Do you think you can get away with doing something like this? Your time is up. I guess you still haven't realized what your crime is, have you?" Tayan, that's right. He is an incredibly dangerous monster. She grabbed Enya's hair again. But will he be safe if half of the allied forces turn their backs on him? A few hours ago, a grain storehouse at the Perugia camp. Enya whispered to herself, "This is strange. It says barley here, so why are there medicinal ingredients in here? Besides, it's full of the scent of dried fruit that has an anesthetic effect. I don't think Perugia misrepresented such a large quantity." This bag is torn. She reached out and scooped some up to test. Then she used a handkerchief to wipe her hand. "Oh, my hand is stained with color. This will be hard to wipe off. This kind of color, people might misunderstand if they see my hand. Don't these marks look very similar to the marks on the plague patients?" She remembered Piash's words. "It's strange. Nearly half of the plague patients only have spots, no other symptoms. It can't be like that. They use this fruit to create fake marks on people. That's absurd. Surely not. Perhaps I'm overthinking it. No way." Just then, Sebia led everyone over. Enya turned around in surprise and called, "Sebia." She asked, "What is it?" "I am checking the inventory as requested by Perugia." Sebia looked at Enya's hand and screamed. "She is the culprit who caused the plague." Enya was secretly astonished. "What? Not only did you spread the disease by disguising yourself as someone helping everyone, but you also tried to infect the storage cellar. I will expose everything in front of everyone. I don't have a plague. Those are just traces of the herbal fruit in the warehouse. Let me go, Sebia. I don't have the plague." Suddenly Enya froze because she saw her covering her mouth and giggling, then revealing her true nature with a cruel look. Enya could only be shocked as she was dragged away by the people. Once outside, she was immediately criticized. "I knew it was her. You spread the plague and put everyone in danger. We must kill this woman. Only then can Aquilise survive." They screamed in her face, "Please don't torment us anymore. You devil." Back to the present. Sebia grabbed her hair and said, "I didn't expect this to become so big either." They shook hands with Perugia to cause a fake plague, just to regain the initiative they lost. But the real plague had spread before that. Enya screamed in agitation. "How could you do that? Furthermore, we are at war right now. Tayan is busy commanding the allied forces without knowing anything. He doesn't know that my son is sharpening his sword behind his back." Enya cried out anxiously, "Tayan." She stood up and said, "The 4 remaining guards in the village must have been assigned already. Stay there and watch your man fall." After finishing her sentence, Sebia raised her foot and kicked Enya hard. Her eyes became panic-stricken. The image of Sebia became increasingly blurry. She was kicked down into the abyss, only able to cry out. Scene change. Tayan said, "The second reinforcement force is quite far away, but they arrived very quickly." "Abisak," she smiled and said, "The sooner the reinforcements arrive, the better, right? The problem is that the food supply force didn't come with us. How do you intend to take responsibility for the sudden increase in supply eyes for the soldiers. She thought to herself, he seems to be a sharp guy. In that case, I will take his arrogant nose down a notch. Today is also the end of you. Thinking this, she said, as I got closer to the desert, my clothes also became lighter. Finishing the sentence, the coat on her body fell down. She stepped closer and hugged Taeyeon's neck, saying, hold me. Taeyeon pushed her away. Are you crazy? What are you doing? I didn't know I would be like this either. If only the plague hadn't happened then. Plague. That's right, it's a plague. The plague has broken out, causing all remaining forces of Aquili to fall into chaos. You are the only one who can help us, a plague. Then what about Enia? That woman has fled to the Novana forest. As soon as she realized the plague was spreading, she flew far away, leading the people of the Novana forest and the remaining allied forces. I don't want to believe it, but she has betrayed you. Taeyeon agitatedly strangled her neck. Enia fled? I can't breathe. Do you really think I would believe those words, Perugia? You, what have you done to my woman? What have you done? Suddenly an announcement rang out. We have a big problem. The anti-alliance forces are attacking the allied forces. I've thought about this many times. That filthy dog of the Tantinas, that lame bitch, every time I see people ignoring Enia. Every time I see her trying to hide everything for my sake. Should I take Enia and run into the forest right now? I have thought about that so many times. Back in the present, Taeyeon pushed Abisak down to the ground. She cursed under her breath. Gyanna, you crazy bastard. You couldn't take it anymore and acted, did you? You broke your promise. Seeing Taeyeon grab his sword, she screamed in fear. Sebia, it was her. She planned all of this. That woman also took Enia. I didn't do anything. Just as she finished speaking, a slashing sound whooshed towards her. But Taeyeon slashed the person behind her who was planning to kill Sebia to silence her. He immediately fell down with a thud to Sebia's shock. She thought to herself, Gyanna's soldier. Did he sense that he was planning a surprise attack and struck first? It was almost impossible to tell friend from foe. Taeyeon spoke up. I have to find Enia. In the middle of all this? It's too late, Taeyeon, because Sebia has already acted. Don't do it. Taeyeon immediately glanced at her with sharp eyes, making her shudder in fear. He really is a man with a frighteningly clear purpose. I can't believe I can't have such a man. Who is she? What is that shabby and weak woman anyway? Ha! Sebia sat down heavily. What'd she done to make him so obsessed? The reason was trivial. Years ago, before Taeyeon became a hunter, Chieftain Canny said, join my hunting party, Taeyeon. If you mess up, you'll make excellent prey. If you join my hunting party, I'll guarantee you a place in Aquili. You have a crippled woman, right? That's how we got to Aquili. I didn't want to work for the enemy who destroyed my country. But I was in a cramped, ugly room with a kitchen less than 2 steps away. I didn't want to live there for another moment. My role as a hunter for Canny was harder than I expected. But looking at Enia's bright smile, he smiled and thought, that doesn't matter. How was the hunt? Are you hurt anywhere? No, I made some rice balls. Do you want to eat? Let's eat together. Taeyeon picked up the broken cup and asked, why is this here? I threw it out to get rid of it. Yes, it's still usable and Taeyeon made it. I can make it again. Besides, there's a new cup too. Enia hesitated, but I like that one. Why do you like this one? Now that I think about it, it's always been like that. Enia couldn't easily throw away even the smallest pebble I gave her. The first flowers I gave her were left until they withered. And finally, Enia dried them and hung them on the wall. I regretted it so much. I was going to bring her something nicer. Why am I only receiving her flowers now? How is it? It's beautiful. Taeyeon, she likes it that much. So, I didn't think much about it for a long time. I will not only let you live here, but I promise to reward you handsomely every time you hunt successfully. And I will let you and that woman hold a coming-of-age ceremony together. Taeyeon asked, you let us live in the village? I don't have to let Enia live there anymore. Words are bait, and if I'm good, this is a golden opportunity to become a hunter. Then, my wages will increase, and I can buy these luxury items. I can do something nice for Enia, beside the house and beautiful tableware like that. I also became a real hunter, giving Enia jewelry and new clothes as gifts. But why does she still keep this? Wait, why did you throw it away? Don't throw it away. Taeyeon held Enia's hand. The coming-of-age ceremony will be held soon. Coming-of-age ceremony? I might not be able to return. Back then in the forest, Taeyeon stood hidden behind a large tree. He looked back warily. A huge beast appeared. Damn it, I have to catch that thing. He asked himself, can I go back? Remembering Enia kissing his hand earlier, then saying goodbye. Be careful, Taeyeon, remembering her. He told himself, I must return, then raised his hand preparing to grip his sword tightly. At home, Enia paced back and forth in great confusion. Seeing her anxiety, Piache asked, "It seems the chieftain has made an unreasonable request. Do you know how the coming-of-age ceremony of Aquili is held? A man proves it with the prey he catches, and a woman proves it by having relations with a man who has just completed his coming-of-age ceremony. But clearly, Kennen wants to send you to perform the purification ritual. The intention is to hold your coming-of-age ceremony there." Enia continued, "So Tan went on a dangerous hunt. He went there to protect you, in exchange for Tan taking responsibility for your coming-of-age ceremony. And Canny gets the prey he wants, and won't interfere in your affairs anymore." Enia silently called out, "Tan," then she prayed, "Please be safe." Just then, Tan's voice rang out, "Enia, I'm here." She hurriedly turned around. "Dan," but she stopped short, because she saw his body covered in wounds, bandaged from his neck to his arms. "I arrived very late. I'm sorry. You were badly hurt. It must have been hard." Saying that, she leaned her head against him. He also reached out to embrace her, then they both sat down. "You may have heard, I am now in charge of your coming-of-age ceremony." She replied, "Yes, I know." Tan used his sword to cut a line on his finger, then unexpectedly dripped blood onto the blanket. Enia cried out, "Tan, what are you doing?" "All right, show this to Canty. Your coming-of-age ceremony will be complete. You don't have to worry anymore. I intended this from the start. I won't do anything like that to you." He silently said, "There's no way I could do that to you." Enia was silent for a moment. She took his hand and called softly, "Tan," then brought his bleeding finger to her mouth. Tan hurriedly said, "Enia, stop. My hand is dirty." But Tan did the same to my ankle. When I said it was dirty, you said it didn't matter. To me, your hands aren't dirty at all. Moreover, these hands are the best in the world. I regretted not telling you every moment that I love you. Tan thought, I don't have enough courage to hold her back anymore. No, I knew it from the beginning. Enia is a braver person than me. Enia, who always followed me as if I were a god, has started leading me since when? She took the initiative to kiss his lips. Then looking at him with a flushed face, she softly called, "Tan." Seeing her take the initiative like that, Tan silently cursed. Damn it. He immediately laid her down and kissed her lips. Now Enia is my god. A few years later. Slow down. Why do you have to run? Tan, I have something to tell you. At that moment, Enia said she was pregnant. Tan's face turned red. He happily lifted her up high. Then he held a fragrant bouquet of flowers in his hand. "Enia, I'm here," she happily replied. "Welcome home, Tan." Saying that, she gave a bright smile, and he responded with a tender look. Enia said, "Today I was surprised when the baby kicked my belly very hard. Must be hiccups." "Really?" Seeing something under the blanket, Tan asked, "By the way, what is that?" These aren't finished yet." "You haven't finished them all? Is there any finished one?" Enia lifted the blanket. "I didn't have much time, so I did it bit by bit. I think we'll need something softer than what we're using." Tan picked up the cloth doll and silently exclaimed, "So small. That's right. It's for a baby." Seeing him look at it intently, Enia asked, "Tan, what's wrong? Is there a problem?" He smiled and replied, "No, it's nothing." He kissed her forehead. "It's time to rest." So Enia lay down and fell asleep. Tan watched her for a long time, his mind full of thoughts. The next day, he went into the forest to hunt. Damn it, the hunt is dragging on. I have to get back to Enia quickly. "Rigata, have you seen the chieftain?" I saw him at first, but halfway through he disappeared. Suddenly something flashed by. Tan silently realized, that's Candy's arrow. It's a danger signal. He hurriedly said, "Rigata, pack up and return to town immediately. Hunting more is useless." "Are you going alone, Tan?" Tan, after running all the way, Tan stopped in panic and said, "What the hell is this?" Was he ambushed while alone? He looks truly foolish. His breathing is getting weaker. If it goes on like this, he will die. If I just leave him like this, he will die. Kanti Vildi, remembering before. Right now the Tantinas will be destroyed. No one must be left alive. Are you Tan? The bait position is empty, so join my hunting team. You handle Jampa, right? Every time I push you to your death, yet you shamelessly survive and return. I agree you don't need to participate in the purification ceremony, just as you wished. At this moment, Tan pointed his sword at him, one of the enemies of his homeland, the Tantinas. Should I kill him right here? He's gonna die by my hand anyway. Tan recalled a memory. "Mom, a lizard crawled into the house. I caught it." Suddenly, she went over and released it. She said, "A life must be exchanged for a life that is natural. Don't forget that, Tan." Remembering this, Tan lowered his sword to the ground. Damn it. Why? Why is it like this? He remembered his mother's smile and asked himself, why? And then Taein decided to bring him back. Taein is back. Taein has returned. Sebia ran out frantically and saw Taein supporting her father back. He said, the chieftain is in danger. Be careful, put him down quickly. Candy, what happened? Oh my god. Regatta asked. Taein, are you okay? I'm Fina. We ran into a pack of wolves on the way, so we were late. Why did you go alone? Go together next time. Taein replied, all right, then turned to look at Candy. He frowned and told himself, that's it, I've done more than enough. Taein was about to turn away when suddenly an urgent voice rang out. She fell. Move aside. He turned back and saw that it was Enia. He rushed over to hug her. Enia, she should be at home. Why is she here? Suddenly red blood flowed down Enia's legs. He shouted in shock, Enia. Then Taein took her to Piache. Enia, don't faint. You must stay awake. She screamed in pain. Piache kept instructing. Keep her awake, Taein. Taein thought to himself, something is wrong. Blood. There's too much blood. He asked Piache, is this normal? Grandmother, what does this mean? Piache's hands trembled. Now, there's truly no other way. We must use force to pull the child's body out. No, what are you saying? The child's body. Last month, since the fetus ceased all movement, I had already prepared myself for this. Enia knew it too. Only by removing the child's body can Enia continue to live. Later, in the room with the flickering fire, Enia lay on the bed groaning. Ugh. Hearing this, Piache glanced over. Hey, are you awake yet? Enia immediately asked. What about the baby? How is the baby? The baby. Piache choked up, unable to speak. At the same time, Taein sat in the pitch-black forest. In front of him was a small grave marker along with a few flowers. A moment later, he pushed himself up to stand. Back in the room, Enia cried out. Oh, tears streamed down her face. Where's the baby buried? I didn't mean to bother you to take me there, but I am a mother. Taein was about to push the door open, but stopped upon hearing Enia speak. Inside the room, Enia continued. I plan to place some flowers there later. Outside, Taein felt a pang of heartache. He squeezed his eyes shut in bitterness. After that, Taein ran quickly across the fields. As he ran, he thought, I don't see Enia anywhere. It's not like she just stepped out for a moment. The blanket was folded neatly. He called out her name in his heart. Enia. A moment later, standing before the small grave marker. She's not here. Where on earth did Enia go? This is the doll Enia made. She definitely came here. There's still a lingering warmth on it. Where are you, Enia? Please. At that moment, Enia was sitting at the edge of a cliff, her eyes cast down in utter despair. She repeatedly touched her stomach. Beside her was a sharp knife. Just then, Taein found her. He called out, Enia, but she had firmly gripped the knife and raised it high. Seeing this, Taein was terrified. He screamed, no. He pulled her into his embrace. Someone please. But no one helped, and then I realized the cruel truth. The gaze that Enia had to endure this time. Even the way she stayed by my side, ignoring all that discrimination, is all my fault. I should have stayed by Enia's side. Instead of saving those enemies, I shouldn't have brought Enia here. After a moment of thought, Enia trembled and screamed. She just kept screaming hysterically. I'm still a failure who cannot protect my family. Back in the present, Taein had returned. He asked Piache, is Enia dead? She replied, there is no other explanation besides that. After Sebia left, I led the others everywhere to look for Enia. Then I found a pit, and there I found this. I apologized for not being able to protect her. Suddenly, Taein asserted that Enia was alive. Piache asked in surprise, what? You seem quite confident. Taein placed 2 dolls down in front of his child's grave. Suddenly, Piache looked at him and shouted in panic, Taein, the god of Aquili always watches over great warriors, so do not let dark thoughts invade you. Taein grabbed the sword blade with his bare hand. Blood began to flow down. It seems you have forgotten. Suddenly, a sentence appeared in his mind. If I meet you again, I will kill you. Taein snapped the sword blade and threw it to the ground. To Piache's astonishment, Taein firmly stated, I am not an Aquili. He thought to himself, if I meet Enia, she will kill me. In a daze, Enia recalled what happened earlier. I guess you still haven't realized what your sin is. Taein, that's right. He truly is a very dangerous monster. I will show you my hell, you bitch. Stay here and watch your man fall. Having said that, Sebia kicked her into the deep pit. She helplessly called his name. Taein. Enia fell into the pit, crying out in pain. Ugh. She looked up at the faint light shining in from the mouth of the cave and screamed, "No, get me out. Anyone, please, someone get me out. Don't leave me here." Sebia smiled maliciously, ignoring Enia's desperate pleading. "Please." She closed the lid, sealing the pit tight. Enia, helpless with tears streaming down, slumped down in the pitch-black darkness. Her mouth kept muttering, "Please, I don't want to die in a place like this." She collapsed onto the cold ground, remembering that woman's words. Tane is busy commanding the Allied forces and knows nothing. Will he be safe if half of the Allied forces turn against him? Enia thought worriedly. Tane must also be in danger. I have to get out of here quickly. Suddenly, someone was approaching. Enia dimly saw him and wondered, is he the Grim Reaper? His whole body was wrapped in bandages like a mummy. He just stood there staring at Enia for a long while. He sat down to check on her. Two people behind him asked, "Hey, is that woman dead?" "No, she's just unconscious." "Is she the person we're thinking of?" "Yeah, I think that's right. Let's take her away." Later, Enia slowly opened her eyes and woke up. She was lying on a makeshift cloth in the middle of a cave. She cried out in pain, "Ouch! Where am I? My wounds have been treated." Suddenly, she heard a voice ring out. "She's plainer than I thought. I thought she'd be very flashy since she's the wife of that man. Even if she isn't as good as the rumors say, isn't she very beautiful? That's just because her hair has mud in it. If you guessed wrong, you might have to cut off that muddy part. Hair will grow back. She isn't a patient like us, but it would be a waste." Saying this, they turned to look at Enia. Seeing her awake and sitting up startled the three of them, making them scream. Then they approached to ask, "Are you fully awake yet? You were lucky the wound wasn't as deep as I thought." Suddenly, the child hid fearfully behind him. "Who is everyone? Where is this?" "This is the Wind Cave." "A wind cave?" "That's right, the same leprosy that recently attacked Aquili. This is where people with leprosy live together. And well, I guess you could say I am their spokesperson." Enya wondered in surprise. "Ali Posi Ding? Such a place exists? By the way, this person knows about Aquili." "How?" Suddenly, the girl spoke up. "What's the matter? Is it funny that lepers also have a leader?" The young man immediately called out, "Salanda." Enia thought to herself, she only has one arm. It's not funny at all. I just didn't know a place like this existed, and I don't even know why I am here. "I definitely fell into a pit," the young man said. "I think it's better to show you with your own eyes." Then he took a torch and led the way. Enia followed behind him. Suddenly she asked in surprise, "Is this?" "That's right. This is where you fell down. The leprosy den is connected to this place. I didn't know there was a place like this under Aquili. It is obvious that you didn't know. My mother considers this place a disgrace to herself." "Your mother?" "That's right. Let me introduce myself again. My name is SNU. I am the spokesperson for the Wind Cave and Sebia's eldest son." Enia was astonished and thought, "I thought that was just something she said in anger. I will show you my hell." "You bitch, but that wasn't it. I lost my eldest son in the Zephyrino War. The reason you and your bastard can live happily here is because my son sacrificed himself to make Aquili what it is today. To Sebia, this is a secret and a hell that cannot be revealed to the world. It is where she hides her eldest son, Esenu." Esenu said, "This is where medicine is stored and where food is stockpiled, where supplies arrive every 15 days. It is empty now because supplies from the outside have been cut off, but we are not starving. We're growing plants that do not depend on sunlight, and we also have a small well. Being sick is bad enough, but isn't starving to death even worse?" Enia was still amazed as she thought, Esenu is still alive. The first son who brought Sebia to the pinnacle of power. He continued, "There are a total of 32 people living here, and they all have their own roles. Are you confused because someone you thought was dead is still alive? Oh, that makes sense. A person who supposedly died heroically for his tribe is still alive and well." Salanda said, "His limbs aren't well. He is so tired that it wouldn't be strange if he died at any moment." The person next to her added, "That's right, among us. He has the most serious illness." "Be quiet. This cave was created by my mother. Sebia created it. That's right, as soon as she realized I had leprosy. After that, she sent me to this cave, faking my death on the Zephyrino plains as a decoy. People might think I am the grandson of an elder who sacrificed his life for the tribe, but actually, I am just a sick person living off outside support." Enia thought to herself, "Sebia, I can't believe she deceived Aquili like this, showing all kinds of contempt for those who were even slightly ill. Anyway, what was that noise just now?" It also smells pungent. Suddenly, SNU said, I have something I want to show you. Then he turned to the guy next to him and signaled. Immediately, a door opened, and a rush of heat surged in. Enya stepped back and cried out, It's so hot. Suddenly, Salanda poked Enya in the back with a stick. What are you doing? Hurry up. Enya remained silent. Then she followed them inside the door. A moment later, she stopped with a surprised expression. SNU said, This is the real wind cave that I want to show you. Inside, some people were forging weapons. She thought to herself, a forge? A place like this in a cave? Damn it, we need to dig a new passage or something. If our skin gets peeled off while passing through this area, it's all your fault, SNU. Please understand, Salanda, we can't let smoke leak into the other passages, right? What do you think? Can you share your impressions? Enya replied, I have never seen a place like this. No words can describe its magnificence. But honestly, I don't know why you brought me here. In essence, the forge is the tribe's greatest asset, but at the same time, it is also a secret place. What do you want from me? I want to get out of the cave with you. I want to meet a man named Tan. The forge is not a place to talk. Let's continue our conversation here. It seems you have a lot of questions, so go ahead and ask. I will answer everything. How do you know Tan? Clearly, you have lived here since you got sick. Salanda pointed at Enya and shouted, We already told you, resources are supplied from the outside. How hard would it be to find that out when outsiders come and go, huh? SNU stopped her. Please calm down. A henchman of Sebia supplies us with food regularly. We heard news about Aquili through him. He treats us a bit poorly, and we're taking advantage of that. Buying necessary items or iron or something else's. Salanda shouted again, criticizing the person who just spoke, Jahan. You act like we were the bad guys. He was the one in the wrong for stealing food in the first place. Don't lose your temper anymore. What? I'm sorry. Even though they look like that, those two are quite close. Anyway, this is how we heard about the activities of the man named Tan. Even if you say that, I still don't understand your intentions. Why did you show me this place? Why do you want to meet Tan? The reason I showed you this place is because I want to let you know how useful we are. More precisely, I wanted to show you that patients like us can also achieve something. My mother knows nothing about this place. She only sends patients here. But the man I heard about, Tan, seems different. I think he might be willing to listen to my ridiculous story. Our wish is to escape this place and live in the light. Enya told herself, I must return to Tan as soon as possible. Because Gyana is targeting Tan, but going with this guy, can I trust him? SNU added, It's fine if you don't trust me. Aren't you planning to find him on your own anyway? I have already prepared to turn my back on my mother. Even if we don't go with you, we will still go to meet him. So let's go together. Isn't going with others better than going alone? After a moment of hesitation, Enya agreed and replied, All right, but I have two conditions. Only when opinions matched did we plan quickly, but I still need to be wary of these strangers. Salanda said, We have a spare leather bag. You can take it if needed. It's full of clothes and provisions. Even so, suspicion about them continued to grow. After some time, and it was time to depart. Suddenly, there was an announcement, SNU, big problem. That woman is here. Sebia, SNU, she came to see you in person. SNU asked in shock, My mother is here? Why now? Memories suddenly flooded back into SNU's mind. You are my firstborn son. You are my pride and joy. But then SNU contracted leprosy, red rashes appearing all over his body. Sebia said, tremblingly, That is impossible. There is no way my son has that disease. It's because there are sick and diseased people in Aquili. They must have cursed the boy from the day he was born because they were jealous. I will wipe out those filthy bastards. Back to the present, SNU gritted his teeth and cried out inwardly, Mother, I need to see my mother first. If she is looking for me, it means they have caught Caleb. If we leave like this, the people here could be in trouble. Enya, you hide. After agreeing to go with them, I gave them my two conditions. We can't go alone. Just as SNU has those two, I want to bring my team. The first condition is requesting PHA and Zaken to go with me. I will feel safe with those two. Okay, as you wish. What is the other condition? The other condition is... Then Enya went to her child's grave. She carefully pulled out the weeds growing around the grave. The three people behind quietly looked in Enya's direction. After a while, she put down a second doll. The remaining condition was to stop at a certain place. Let's go. On the way, Enya said, I didn't know there was an opening in the cave. We only use it when necessary. We need an opening in case of emergency. She asked, does Sebia know about it too? I don't know. My mother never comes to this cave personally. Even if she came, she wouldn't recognize me anymore. If I'm away this time, a friend named Caleb will pretend to be me. He is very good at mimicking my voice. I see. Before you go, there's something I want you to do. My mother will send people to check if you're alive or dead. I want to present your hair as proof. Then, back to the present. Why did Sebia come? At this moment, they went out with SNU. Enia and Salanda stood nestled at the cave entrance. Sebia spoke up. Do you think you can fool me? Do you think I can't even recognize your voice? SNU asked, what are you doing here? I need to check something. I'm talking about dealing with that bitch. SNU held up the lock of Enia's hair. The corpse was burned as always. I can show you the ashes. Want to check? How dare you shove such a disgusting thing in my face? Get it out of my sight immediately. SNU said, all right. Suddenly Sebia said, that bastard has disappeared. Who disappeared? I'm talking about Tan. He disappeared taking nothing but a knife. He left everyone behind and went alone. So he will be caught soon. Inside, Enia panicked, thinking it can't be like that, Tan. Sebia continued, then you'll come with me. Hearing that, both girls were startled. What? SNU also shouted in agitation. You are. What the hell have you done? SNU stepped forward and grabbed Sebia's arm tightly. What did you order Gyanna to do? You. Let me go. I am currently clearing out the remaining anti-forces in Aquili. I need to resolve this quickly and go help Gyanna. Saying that, she ordered, stand up. SNU adamantly refused. No, I won't go. Sebia shouted angrily. You. Inside, Jahan saw the situation wasn't good and said, we need to do something, damn it. Enia pondered deeply. What should we do? According to Sebia, Tayan has left the Allied forces. Plus, she wants to take SNU away right now. If we let him be taken, Sebia might not leave this place alone. She told herself, calm down. Think about the first thing we need to solve right now. First of all, we must get out safely. Thinking of this, she called out, Jahan, do you have more bandages? Outside, Sebia said again, since when did you think you could disobey my words? If you don't want to go, I will take you by force. Suddenly a voice rang out, please wait. Salanda, Jahan, and Enia came out wrapped in bandages. Seeing Enia, SNU called out inwardly in worry. Enia? Ah, Sebia thought. As expected, I should have killed him right then. When Sebia found out about her son's illness, she directed her anger at the sick people in Aquili. She didn't care. My father didn't have leprosy, so why? Whether they had leprosy or not, in the end, her cruelty spread to her own son. Mother, I want to live. I want to live. I want to live with the people who have leprosy. SNU begged, please. But she was overwhelmed by a moment of maternal instinct. Sebia threw the knife down and declared, you are dead. Live as someone who has died, SNU. To those who don't know, the events of that day are remembered as a leprosy massacre. But to Sebia, it is remembered as a shameful day. Therefore, in times of crisis, I must keep my weaknesses closer to me. Back to the present. Please wait. Sebia looked at the three people coming out and wondered, what the hell are they doing? Suddenly, they knelt down. We apologize, Lady Sebia. We were reinforced in an emergency. We are SNU's doctors. Doctors? Yes. As Lady Sebia knows, leprosy is a disease with very low transmissibility. However, once you have contracted leprosy, the symptoms do not disappear easily. Fortunately, we have developed a drug that can slow the progression of the disease. So, if I take SNU, I take you too? That is correct. You have truly lived a life of luxury in this cave, SNU. However, do you really need all three of them? Enia bowed her head thinking, I'm scared. How can I not be scared? She is the daughter of an elder and a powerful figure in the vast plains, who bore 4 children for the leader. But the mold within me has been broken. This place is not hell, as Sebia said. Earlier, Salanda asked, hey, do you know what we're going to do? Leave the games for later. We might need them. But hope is hope because of the illness, because of being considered losers. Sebia imprisoned her son in this cave. Why should I be afraid of that woman? At this moment, SNU said, it's too much when only one person treats me. Salanda immediately chimed in. That's right. We need to care for him and change his bandages in a timely manner. That is impossible when making medicine and caring for SNU alone. We need at least 3 people. I think 2 is enough. Isn't that right? At this moment, Enia looked up at her. She immediately frowned and shouted, why are you looking at me like that? Are you ignoring me now? Jahan hurriedly begged, please forgive her, Lady Sebia. She cannot speak. She lost her ability to speak long ago because her symptoms have spread to her throat. She angrily thought, I can't move or do anything. Jahan continued, and now your son's condition is getting worse. So we must ensure that we have enough people. Who are you saying is my son? There is no one who is my flesh and blood here. Hearing that, SNU felt as if his heart was breaking. Sebia continued to shout loudly, how dare you spout such nonsense? SNU spoke up, I will go with those 3 substitutes. And please don't touch this place. The next day, they started to leave. He looked at her intently for a moment, then kissed her lips. A sweet and deep kiss. Seeing the thing worn on SNU, Sebia's subordinate asked, "Wait, what is that luggage?" Jahan replied, "Didn't you hear, Lady Sebia? It's medicine. I didn't hear that it would be this big." The accomplice next to him reminded, "It's medicine. Let them in quickly. Do you want to spread the disease?" "Oh, right. Damn it. Get in there quickly." All four sat in the vehicle. Salanda said, "It's been a long time since I've seen sunlight." "Oh, this is even worse than a beast cage." Enia wondered and asked, "Esenu, why are you sitting so far away?" "I'm fine. Don't come near me." Jahan said, "Salanda and I have both fully recovered, but Esenu hasn't. That's why he is so far away." That's meaningless. It's a low-contagion disease. You could spend days naked together without getting infected." Esenu asked, "By the way, I'm surprised. What happened?" Enia suggested it. "If neither is safe, why not use this situation to our advantage? It seems impossible to avoid Sebia. In that case, isn't it better to go under Sebia's nose and move while being protected? And isn't that the quickest way to hear news about Tayan? Surely if I were my mother, I would be worried about his whereabouts. Then, we should aim to gather information and escape when there is a chance. It won't be easy. I heard the guard watching earlier, and it seems the Perugia army is involved. If there are many people here, it will be very difficult to escape. Which comes first, information or escape? But how can we escape in such a closely monitored place?" All four sighed in distress. Suddenly, a startled voice rang out outside. "What is that? That thing, damn it. Stop them all. Stop them." Jahan curiously looked out. "Why is it so noisy outside? What is happening?" Monsters. A pack of monsters has appeared. Hurry up and stop them." Enia thought with a start. "Monsters?" Just then, Jahan screamed in fear. Monsters. Why did monsters appear out of nowhere? Maybe because the army left the village. Without regular patrols, the monsters are active again. Tayan told me this before. What is with everyone's reaction? This is the first time I've seen a monster. What? You must have seen them at least once before, right? That's right. Jahan has lived in the cave since he was 5. SNU and I are no different. We have never been outside. We lived in the cave. What? Impossible. Those damn monsters. We can use this to wipe them all out. SNU refused, saying, "No, this can only be used once. And we only have 4 tries, so we should only use this at the very last minute." Salanda hesitated, but suddenly, Enia and Salanda screamed, "Ah!" SNU and Jahan cried out together. "Oh!" Outside, the monster rampaged against the carriage, causing it to fall off the cliff. The 4 inside were thrown about. SNU asked, "Is everyone okay?" "It looks like we rolled down the hill." Everyone was dazed. "Should we get out?" Then the 4 of them ran away quickly. Suddenly, Enia fell down. She thought to herself, "This leg can only go so far." Jahan hurriedly said, "Enia, get on my back." Enia hesitated, but stop arguing and do as Jahan says. "We might have reached the other side, but we aren't safe yet. Now let's move." Enia had no choice but to climb onto Jahan's back. She said, "I'm sorry." Jahan panted and said, "Don't talk, or I'll drop you." All right, Enia thought. It was definitely Paludas and those blackhorn wolves from before. We need to get out before getting caught up in more trouble. Damn it, this is a turf war. It's not that there's a turf war between monsters. That's nothing new, so it's not a problem. But why are Paludas, which are nocturnal, out during the day? And why didn't the army notice monsters nearby? She remembered what Zakin had said. Enia, do you want me to tell you something interesting? There's a tactic that only our tribe uses. A tactic? That's right. It's like a treasure hunt. It is a tactic where a warrior shoots an arrow to direct the prey's movement to a desired location. A tactic you would never dream of being used on these plains. Suddenly, she sensed that IRU was nearby. She immediately said, "We have to follow this whistle." Salanda asked, "What do you mean?" "There's no time to explain." "Ah, damn it. You have to take responsibility for your words." Enia peeled off the bandage while thinking, IRU is here. She won't be alone. That's for sure. Suddenly, they stopped short. Everyone looked panicked because a pack of wolves had blocked their path ahead. They growled and lunged forward. Enia squeezed her eyes shut in fear. Was I wrong? Just then, an arrow was shot toward the wolf. The arrow struck precisely with a thud. Enia opened her eyes wide in surprise. Next, a group of people rushed in. In an instant, the monsters were completely wiped out. Looking at the person in front, Enia teared up with emotion. She choked up and called out, Nayatan, Regatta, Bayaka, and IRU too. They also rushed over, shouting, Goddess Nirvana. Thank you. Enia. Finally, a smile appeared on Enia's face. On the other side, Sebia screamed, What the hell are you saying? You lost them? Does it make sense for Aquili warriors to lose a few sick people? We are sorry, Lady Sebia. But monsters suddenly appeared. Sebia turned pale and wondered herself. Where did you go? SNU turned back to Enia. Wait a moment. Can we just leave like this? Shouldn't we wait for IRU? Bayaka smiled and replied, You don't need to worry. When it comes to confusing the enemy, no one is better than IRU. We will erase our tracks and then join her. Suddenly, Bayaka glanced at the other three. More importantly, are they really people we can trust? Enia replied, They have saved me many times. We can trust them, if you say so. Enia, on the other hand, prepare to be surprised, because there are some welcoming faces waiting for us. Then Enia exclaimed, Oh my God! Ihida called out tearfully, Enia. Then the two hugged each other tightly. Do you know how worried I was? Bayaka felt happy seeing this too. By nightfall, they stopped to rest. Bayaka asked, So, are these the people who live in the place called Wind Cave? Besides, apart from being the one who saved you, you're saying that man is Sebia's eldest son. SNU said, Yeah. My God, I knew she was harsh, but I didn't expect her to be that bad. Regatta said, This is a big problem. If we reveal this truth to the village, even her blood relatives, those who only act as elders, might collapse. By Canty's will, even the henchmen following Sebia will turn their backs on her. Enia asked, But how did you escape the village? Bayaka replied, We didn't escape. They were outside from the beginning. You mean they were outside already? That's right. We were sent as a search party to find you. This was set up because you suddenly disappeared from the village. Recalling earlier, Bayaka ran in frantically to announce, Enia is missing. There is some speculation that she might have been kidnapped. It's good that you got out. But in the meantime, Sebia has taken control of the village. In the end, we can't go there, nor can we go anywhere. So they were dragged out by force. But Ihida is probably the only trustworthy person capable of practicing medicine. Thinking about it, Enia asked, Are the rest of the people in the village okay? Nayatan replied, If it's them, you don't need to worry. I heard that an old pharmacist dug a tunnel into the pharmacy. A tunnel? Ihida hurriedly waved his hand. I don't know either. Enia thought to herself, No wonder he told me to build a new, bigger pharmacy. As expected of Aunt Piache, she prepared for everything. Suddenly, Enia paused and looked up high. IRU smiled and asked, Are you all here? Enia quickly ran over and asked, I was so worried about you. Are you hurt anywhere? I'm fine though. I could have gotten here faster, but the trees in this place are a bit sparse. I had to run on the ground a few times. Enia asked in astonishment, You had to run on the ground? If not on the ground, where would you run? IRU replied, From tree to tree. Of course. Bayaka laughed and said, What did I tell you? Didn't I say there was no need to worry? Nayatan said sulkily, You're a bit late. Were you worried about me? Besides, I think we should act quickly. I heard Sebia is searching for those who escaped. SNU was startled to hear that. Then, we should also quickly decide on a route. In my opinion, we have three options. We could go to Gagan, Aquili, or Nirvana Forest. Wait, why is Nirvana Forest among the options? Do you still want to confirm if Enia is the daughter of the forest, even when? Bayaka interrupted, That's not it. I chose Nirvana Forest because it is the most advantageous gathering place. Think about it. The daughter of the forest is currently a very important issue for all tribes. She can deal with the green snakes, and she is the one who can overcome the current situation immediately. So, whether friend or foe, should we move to where that creature is likely to go? However, the risk will also increase. That is also true. Enia thought to herself, The situation is becoming dangerous. What would Tayan do in this situation? Would he have the same thoughts as us? Regatta spoke up. Gagan will also need support. No one knows if Tayan will make such a choice. But even so, they're still entangled in the war there. We can't just watch what happens. And we can't leave behind those who were captured. It's the same in Aquili. We need to explain the situation to the rest. Regatta decided to speak. Then I will go to Gagan. Ihida said, I will go to Aquili. Are you saying we should split up? Fine. Enia, where will you go? Enia stammered. At the same time, on the other side. We can't let things go on like this. We have to fight too. Who doesn't know that? So, isn't that why we should find the people outside? It's not just the combat troops out there, but Ahita is out there too. But what about the rest of the people in Gagan? Can we solve that problem by finding the warriors outside? Everyone wondered upon hearing that. Why is that Zaken guy so angry? No, calm down a bit, Zaken. Aren't we trying to discuss which issue is more important and which is not? Most of the remaining people on our side are not warriors, except for those in Zaken's faction. That's how it is. We also don't know where IRU or Enia's group is. Even so, do you want to find Enia? Tayan pondered for a moment, then replied, right. She left the doll beside the grave. Do you want to come with me? Tahan hesitated. I want to go to Nirvana Forest. And at the same time on the other side, Enia also made the same decision. I want to go to Nirvana Forest. Then, at Nirvana Forest, at this path, Bayaka said, I smell a wolf nearby. Is it my imagination, or have I become less sharp due to contact with outsiders? Over here, Solando wondered aloud. What does that woman eat to be so scary? We are exhausted, yet she acts like it's nothing. Enia said, maybe it's because we've entered Nirvana Forest. The tribe in Nirvana Forest gets their power from here. This time I'm really jealous. Bayaka suddenly asked, where is Jahan? Esenya replied. He went to clear his head. Hey, how much longer do we have to walk? We've been walking in this forest for a while now. Where the hell is that waterfall? What are you talking about? We've only just reached the entrance of the forest, Solanda exclaimed. Huh? We've only just reached the entrance. Nirvana Forest is a vast forest, and there's a waterfall from very high up. It splits into many rivers flowing down, keeping the forest lush all year round. And Enia's group is only at the edge of the forest. The destination is deep inside. Are you kidding me? How the hell are we supposed to get there? I told you, the waterfall where that Miss Spider lives is in the deepest part of Nirvana Forest. And if you're going to complain, the first thing to do is throw away all the heavy luggage. It's very cumbersome. SNU said, I am very sorry about this. However, since we insisted on bringing them here, we will take full responsibility for them. They will be useful eventually. You really are stubborn, aren't you? That being said, if it slows us down any further, it will be troublesome. I will help you. Thank you. Bayaka. Suddenly a voice screamed, save me. It's Jahan, damn it. Bayaka said, stay close together and follow me. Enia thought to herself, I have to follow quickly too, but she looked down at her leg. She exclaimed in surprise, my leg. Hearing a call? Enia replied, I'm coming. Oh my god, what the hell is that? Jahan was wrapped in vines, and the monster flower cracked its head open over him. Jahan tried to scream, save me, damn it. It's a man-eating cavaligo plant. TCH, did it have to be him? There are strange carvings on them. Those aren't carvings. They are marks of the prey it has eaten, Solanda shouted. Explain later, just do something. Calm down. This isn't something reckless charging can solve. The cavaligo's weakness lies inside its claw. We must figure out how to make it open its mouth. Suddenly a beast appeared and bit the man-eating plant. An Axolin? So I wasn't mistaken. Is it trying to save Jahan? Bayaka said, doesn't matter anyway. Bayaka prepared to shoot at any moment, just waiting for it to open its mouth. At this moment, it started to open its mouth. Bayaka shouted, now. Immediately, an arrow flew out. Jahan finally broke free from it and fell down. The arrow pierced deep into its claw. At the same time, at the Gigantha Alliance camp, Abisak muttered in frustration, Nan, that filthy bastard. What does he gain by stalling the attack? I reported it, but haven't received a response for a few days. That bastard doesn't even care. Even if Sabaya returns and things continue like this, it's only a matter of time before this alliance splits. We still haven't caught Tayan's remnants. Not only that, the desert monsters keep encroaching. The army is getting exhausted. I have to find a way to make Nan do his job. Suddenly, she stopped in front of Tent. Voices? He's not alone. Inside, obscene moaning sounds could be heard. Don't stop. Squeeze the throat tighter. Abisak rushed in and shouted, you crazy bastard. Nan interrupted, cursed. What the hell? Entering the commander's tent without announcing? First time seeing this? Are you senile? Are you unaware of our situation? He shouted, shut up. Don't act like a strategist when I'm present. Tayan appointed you as strategist, not me. Forget it. The scout team reported they captured an Argonian warrior. When do you plan to interrogate him? What's the rush? He can't run away. Nonsense. That warrior, or rather Kasa, is reputed to be the one who devoured the desert moon. Such a warrior cannot be caught by a normal scout team. I heard rumors he caused the scars on Taeyeon's chest. Oh, shut up. I said I'll interrogate him myself. If you want to act like a strategist, why don't you strip in front of me like you did with that guy? Maybe then I'd overestimate your abilities and give you the strategist position. Abisak gritted her teeth and cried out, "Former commander?" Then she stormed off, muttering, "Useless bastard. So it's come to this again? Fine, do whatever you want. I will interrogate that guy myself." On the other side, the sound of clinking glasses rang out. Cheers, cheers. Along with happy laughter, they chatted enthusiastically. Outside, Nyatin and Regatta watched them and said, "No matter how I look at it, I don't see the distance between them. A guy who only relies on his mother to be in charge won't amount to anything. What would the leader think if he saw this scene? So loyal. Didn't you hate him?" Regatta said, "You come from a different clan, so you might not know. But the conflict between Sabaya and Taeyeon has lasted a long time. Taeyeon's departure must have shocked everyone, but to them, it wasn't betrayal. Moreover, they're afraid something is about to explode. Him, the man I've served since I was young. No matter where he is still the chieftain to me." Nyatin silently listened as Regatta continued. "My tribe is on the verge of ruin, so I'll stop talking nonsense. Aren't you worried about your daughter? You left her in Ollie. She has to fend for herself." "Which girl? Oh, you mean Yeru? My daughter will be fine. Kian will help her, and Yeru is the type of girl you don't need to worry about." Regatta heard this and just gave a faint smile. At the same time, at Bayaka's secret hideout, "I'm so worried. We can't stay here forever, but I can't leave immediately either, so I'll have to wait for them until then." She remembered what Ahita said, "Grandma, don't worry. Who am I? I'll go find Enya and come back quickly. I never let her go like that. If I lose her..." Suddenly Ahita and Yeru appeared, calling out loudly, "Grandma," giving Bayek a start. "Oh, I was just joking. Why were you so startled? You scared me." Bayek stammered, trembling. You, then screamed, I jumped out of my skin, didn't you see?" Just as Nyatin predicted, Yeru and the others had arrived safely. Kian asked, "So Enya has gone to Nirvana Forest? All right, we should head to Nirvana Forest quickly. Taeyeon and Rihan's group are already there." Nyatin and Regatta decided to go to that forest after sweeping the Alliance army. "I made a decision midway, so I guess I have to go there." Bayek asked, "Can I bring the people of Ollie along?" "I want you to bring those who want to come. We can go together, but Nirvana won't guarantee safety for those prisoners." She said, "Not necessary. I didn't capture them to guarantee their safety. I captured them to punish them." Suddenly Yeru froze, alert. "Everyone be quiet and get down. Someone is coming." Yeru looked out and cursed. "Damn it, there are too many of them." Back to Regatta and Nyatin. Dawn broke. "What's wrong?" "The desert child. You were supposed to be dead, yet you're alive? Is Enya safe too?" Now I understand why that guy was easily captured. They want to use the desert child's power to control the desert vipers to strike directly into the Alliance. Luckily, I discovered it early. I need to leave here quickly with the soldiers. But we don't need to save the whole Alliance, right? Scene shifts to a place in Nirvana Forest. Damn, I feel like I'm about to die. This job is exhausting as hell. Rikin wondered, we are the ones born and raised in this forest. So why is that guy stronger than us? At this pace, we'll all collapse before reaching the waterfall. Rikin glanced at the guy next to him. "You've to go stop him." Leroy helplessly replied, "Don't look at me. Just consider me dead already." Finally, they stopped to rest. Taeyeon sat looking at the fire, lost in thought. Suddenly someone spoke up. "It's certain now. There are intruders in the forest. Tracing the tracks, it's clear many have entered. Moreover, I saw bone spiders running in panic." Taeyeon asked, "So the intruder must be Enya?" "Yeah, bone spiders usually live in seclusion. Now they're actively running wild. It seems they discovered and are searching for the child of the forest. Enya will be safe. We left marks. She will surely find us." Taeyeon said, "That's right." Sagaria looked at Taeyeon without saying anything more. Suddenly Taeyeon stood up. "Rest well today. Starting tomorrow, we climb the cliff, so there won't be time to rest." Everyone heard this, and their jaws dropped. Then they shouted, "Speak human language, please." The next day, as planned, Taeyeon's group started climbing the mountain. Suddenly a rumbling sound echoed. Sagaria hurriedly warned, "Looks like there's a landslide nearby. We need to find cover immediately, move." Suddenly Rikan froze in surprise. He looked at the stone in his hand with a question mark in his head. Immediately, he fell down, causing Leroy to scream. "Rikan!" He cursed. "Damn it, go ahead. I'll follow." At the same time, on Enia's side, resting midway. Bayaka teased and criticized. Jahan, don't get lost again, you hear? Next time I won't help you. No way, I just wanted to pee back then. Salanda thought wearily. He cries so much over just that. Suddenly Bayaka turned to Enia. Seems like there was a landslide nearby. A landslide? Yeah, happens often. Either heavy rain weakens the soil, or it's a dam created by bone spiders. Suddenly Enia remembered Tan. I haven't seen him since he left. He's still safe, right? Suddenly Bayaka got goosebumps and shouted, Eek, this thing is rubbing its face on my leg. Go away. What is it now? The great warrior of Nirvana Forest is afraid of that little animal. I should have dealt with it back then. Strange. Why are monsters helping us? Thanks to it, we wiped out the Cavaligos. But even if it's a cub, it shouldn't get close to humans. Jahan scratched his head and said, maybe my aunt fed it all along the way. No wonder I kept smelling wolf scent. Bayaka, come on. Bringing it along isn't a problem. Spotty, be a good boy. It knows how to find food and can even warn us if danger is near. That's right, Bayaka. Spotty looks harmless too. Suddenly Enia stood up. She walked amidst everyone's surprise. Bayaka asked, what's wrong, Enia? Are you hurt? You mean your leg has fully recovered? You didn't notice it before? I thought it was just imagination. It just happened, and I wasn't sure. She walked slowly and felt it. I still can't believe it. Everyone exclaimed, oh my God. The leg everyone thought would be crippled has recovered. This is absurd, Bayaka thought. It's hard to believe she could recover to that extent just by entering the forest. No need to watch out for spiders or other things anymore. Clearly, Enia is the child of the forest. Meanwhile, Ihida chirped, congratulations, Sister Enia. Oh, thank you. Enia's face was beaming, then suddenly darkened. She stammered, Bayaka. Not only Enia, but everyone looked at Bayaka with panicked expressions. Bayaka asked bewilderedly, What's with those expressions? But Bayaka was unaware of the bone spider appearing behind her back. Only then did she turn around and scream, holy shit, it's a bone spider. A few days ago. What is it, Bayaka? Why did you bring me out here? Enia, I hesitated a lot about whether to give you this. Here, take it. It's powder ground from dried mushrooms. Our warriors carry them. It's usually used as a sleeping drug and anesthetic. Anesthetic? Why give me this? As far as I know, bone spiders don't kill their prey immediately. They cause a slow and painful death over a long time. If you use a small amount, it causes drowsiness, but if you use it all, it could be a deadly poison. I hope the spiders will quickly recognize the child of the forest. So if they fail to recognize me, use it. This is the portion for the child of the forest. Back to the present. Everyone ran and screamed frantically. Yeah, why is it so huge? Shut up and run. That thing is only chasing Enia, right? Could it be telling me to stop? Maybe it recognizes me as the child of the forest. Suddenly, the spider launched its long leg towards Enia. Bayaka dashed in time to hug Enia and dodge. Seems like that's not it, huh? Everyone screamed in fear. What? At this moment, Salanda took out her gun and fired at the spider. Damn it, it's completely unscathed. It's chasing even more fiercely. Run fast. Once again, the whole group ran for their lives. Bayaka whispered, this won't do. I'll buy some time. Just keep running. Don't go too far from the waterfall. I will definitely come find you. Enia hesitated, but Salanda suddenly grabbed Enia's hand and said, let's go together. Bayaka is a Nirvana Forest warrior. We'll only be a burden if we stay. After hesitating, Enia decided to run as fast as she could. Bayaka's loud voice rang out. Go there, Enia. Down that hill. I am enough alone. But Senu and Zana chose to stay. I won't get in the way. If anything happens, just ignore me. Sometimes having someone by your side is better than being alone. Bayaka aimed her arrow at the spider and said, then let's give it a try, shall we? Then a battle broke out between humans and spiders. Explosions rang out loudly. Enia anxiously looked back at her comrades. Suddenly, she screamed a warning. Salanda, a spider is chasing us. What? Motherfucker! Enia hurriedly shouted, jump! So Salanda, Enia, and Spotted immediately jumped into the waterfall. There, they sank deep into the cold water. Enia silently recalled, I once asked Tayan if he feared death, and Tayan replied, I do, but there are things even more terrifying than death, and that is you disappearing from my life. If you go missing, I will use the rest of my life to find you. So if you die, you must die in front of me. By the time she opened her eyes, she was lying safely on the ground. That's right, cough all the water out. Good. Enia called out in surprise. Recant. Oh, thank goodness, I was so scared. I was afraid something happened to you. I'm glad Salanda is safe too. You okay too, Spotted? Rican said, this guy saved me. But why are you here? I also got separated from the group on the way here. I fell while climbing the cliff and ended up here where I found you guys. The wolf pup tried to pull you up. More importantly, if you knew who I came here with, you'd be very surprised. Surprised? Yeah, I went with. Rican hadn't finished his sentence when he was suddenly shoved aside by Salanda. Wait, stand aside. Why did you suddenly push me? Seeing Salanda's expression, Enya was also surprised. Both Rican and Spotted were bewildered. Salanda, what are you doing all of a sudden? Stand still. I'm just checking. Checking. Enya, I heard from Bayaka before, but is it true that the bone spiders become more aggressive when they see a pregnant woman? Yeah, I heard they lose control and rush at the pregnant woman. Why do you suddenly ask? Enya, you're pregnant. Another side. I heard the Nirvana forest was vast, but witnessing it firsthand like this is beyond what I thought. No matter how much we walk, it seems endless. Who would have thought those damn rebels and the Argonian warriors would cooperate like that? Because the desert child summoned sand vipers, the Alliance army scattered everywhere. I don't understand why Abisak surrendered, and amidst the chaos, the rebels took my mother away. Nan gritted his teeth and muttered, I will definitely make them pay for this humiliation. Back to Enya. She asked in surprise, pregnant? Impossible. I've been pregnant before, Salanda. Tayan and I have a lot of experience with pregnancy. Enya, hey, I used to be a midwife in Aquili until I was sent to the Wind Cave. My diagnoses regarding fetuses and childbirth are rarely wrong. You are pregnant, Enya. Enya froze for a moment. Me? Have a child? Wait, so you mean we're leading a pregnant woman along? In this Nirvana forest full of bone spiders. You idiot, why does being pregnant make you look so hopeless? Are you panicking instead of thinking about protecting the pregnant woman? If you don't know anything, then don't speak. Do you know why the tribes in the Nirvana forest separate women and men? It's to survive among the bone spiders. Even if our population declines and we face the risk of extinction, we cannot live together. If just one woman in the tribe gets pregnant, everyone has to risk their lives to protect that pregnancy. But to be targeted by those spiders in this situation, once targeted, there's no escape for us. Enya collapsed in despair. So that's the reason the spiders targeted me. She recalled their terrifying appearance. She whispered, it's over. The sky also began to darken. Salanda walked over and asked, hey, are you crying? Here's water. Stop being a crybaby. Enya replied, I'm not crying. Salanda looked at Enya, smiled, and asked, the baby's father is that guy named Tayan, right? Ah, yes. You know, I gave birth to a baby in the Wind Cave. That was my firstborn. The baby died. Towards the end of the pregnancy, my condition worsened. A while later, it passed away, and I had to cut off my right arm. That cave, where not a single ray of light could enter, was like hell to me. I grew to hate everything, life, people, everything. But there was one person. She remembered the gentle smile on Senu's rapt face. Senu was the only one who didn't abandon me. Enya asked curiously, Zilanda, your child's father. Salanda immediately asked back, what about him? Enya continued, is it Senu? Salanda froze for 3 seconds. Then she screamed, what? What kind of nonsense are you talking about? Absolutely not. I hadn't even spoken to Senu until we were thrown into the cave. I'm sorry if I misunderstood. You two seem so close, so. He's just my guardian. True, he saved us. He saved me and the people trapped in the Wind Cave. So don't be too discouraged. There must be a way. Rikan said it. The man named Tayan is here. Enya thought to herself, that's right, Tayan is here. Not only that, people who believe in me and are ready to help are by my side. I'm not alone like before, so I have to pull myself together. I will try to connect again. Salanda said it. There will be a way. Wait a way. Suddenly Enya exclaimed, right, there is a way. Salanda asked in surprise, a way? Yes, there is a way. There's still a chance, Salanda. Suddenly a voice rang out. Hey, this is truly lucky. You damn whore. Motherfucker, you made me travel a long way to get here. Did you think you could hide forever? Enya, somewhere in the Nirvana forest. I have safely regrouped with Nyadin and the others. Yeru, everyone is fine, although there are a few uninvited guests with them. I'll just consider it a good thing, since they're also a strong force. And the people who appeared at that time. At this moment, Caleb spoke. Sorry for scaring everyone. My name is Caleb. We are people from the Wind Cave. I brought them because I thought they would be useful for Enya, although I don't know how they found that place. But I confirmed they belong to Esnu's group. Yeru asked, is anyone else with Esnu? Cinda and Jahan. Cinda lost an arm, and Jahan is still just a child. All right, and they gave us weapons. Useful weapons not only against armies, but also against giant monsters like bone spiders. Those weapons will be brought by Kian and his group. Unlike them, whose mobility is reduced due to large numbers, I need to move quickly and regroup with Niatin's group first. And that weapon isn't the only thing we received. At this moment, that woman Sabaya frowned and said, "Do you think I'll tell you about Nan's remaining forces just because you caught me? I am Sabaya, a talent nominated to be the successor elder. Do you think my power will diminish if I'm caught by lowlifes like you? Release me immediately." As soon as she finished speaking, Yeru gave her a dizzying slap. She cried out, "Ah, you slapped me? I will tear you apart and kill you. My son will never leave you alone." Another slap immediately landed, causing blood to trickle from Sabaya's mouth. Yeru's face remained cold and silent. The elder muttered something. Sabaya slumped to the ground. She trembled and cried out. "Act!" Suddenly, Yeru spoke up. "Which one is your son, Esnu?" Making her startle. "You never thought you would be treated like this in your life, did you? It's not that bad, compared to what you did to Enya." A while later, Niatin held his forehead and said, "The more I think about it, the more absurd it seems. Elder Heron, Sabaya's father, he must have gone senile long before that. Sabaya, that hag hit it really well. In Aquili, if someone's body or mind is no longer sound, they cannot avoid being exiled to the hollow regions. More terrifyingly, even that person's family is shunned and discarded for carrying that impure blood. This is the law of the Aquili Plains. But Sabaya chose to hide it instead of revealing it. Heron was the highest-ranking elder ruling Aquili during the time Cantina was destroyed. What? Cantina is Tayan's hometown, right? Elder Heron was one of the direct culprits who destroyed Cantina, and he was also the main cause of the hip disaster that flooded the hollow regions and killed the chieftain's mother. Which means, in the end, they are enemies of Tayan and Enya. After all the humiliating actions aimed at both of them. And now it ends like this. The three were talking when a voice rang out. "Hey, how long do you people plan to talk?" Casa continued. The rain stopped. "We should go." Yera warily remembered Regatta's words, to watch out for that guy. Looking at the situation, we are cooperating, but Casa is still just a mercenary. He definitely has another motive, Yera thought. Although Regatta didn't explain in detail, clearly something happened between Tayan and the mercenary. Also based on the fact that he brought the desert child here, they must have a common goal. Could their goal be related to the child of the forest? Casa said again, "Really? So annoying. I'm carrying you. Don't whine anymore. You should have done that sooner." Looking at the two of them, Yeru unconsciously remembered Tayan and Enya. She was deep in thought when Sigarius said, "So when do we go?" "We'll go soon, as soon as the rain stops." But it's not raining. It's about to come again. Even though we didn't learn anything about Nan's remaining forces from Sabaya, we found tracks in the forest. Those are footprints from properly trained people. Hearing that, Casa exclaimed, "Impressive ability. But is it really necessary to chase them? Even if they are the ones who invaded the Nirvana forest, they are no different from a defeated army. Instead, handling the prisoners would be better. They won't stop until they get Enya. We don't intend to stop either. I understand your point. However, if we don't know their exact location, this war will have no end. I know where these footprints lead." "So, where do they lead?" Yera replied, "The waterfall." The next day, when Nan's group was standing watch, they were still leisurely chatting when they were attacked from behind by Yeru's people, suddenly and swiftly. Yeru observed the situation from a high tree. She called out, "All right, shall we open the hunt?" A few hours later, Rikan led the way, followed by Enya and Cinda. "Enya, there's a tree root over there. Be careful." "Oh, thank you. Walk carefully, not just for yourself." I will." Suddenly Cinda spoke sarcastically. "Can't believe it. Yet yesterday you screamed like a banshee." "Well, I was just a bit scared then. It was funny anyway." Enya heard this and happily said, "Thanks, Rikan." "Oh well, thanking you is natural." "What is it?" Suddenly acting weird. "I hear something." "Hear what?" Suddenly Rikan said, "Run." The pursuers shouted, "There they are. Chase them." Enya thought in surprise. When did they appear? He heard them from that far. Rikan cursed. "Damn it, we are completely surrounded." Back to the present. Enya woke up holding her head. "Of my head." She startled and touched her belly. "And the baby, any stomach pain or anything?" "No pain, what a relief." Suddenly someone poked her back calling, "Enya." She startled and turned to see Cinda and Jahan. "Everyone is fine. Quiet. Will be discovered." Phew. Seems they haven't noticed we're awake yet. Thanks to the sound of the waterfall. Waterfall? Could this be? You guessed right. This is the head of the waterfall. Enya asked, wondering, "What happened? Why is Jahan here?" "Ah yes, it's a long story." After everyone ran, we tried to escape, but unfortunately, we ran straight into Nan's troops. That is why we are here. What about Esnu and Piaka? Recan and Spotted too? Stay calm. Everyone is alive. When I arrived, Spotted wasn't there. They were just tied to trees. But why are we tied? Even if there are guards outside, they didn't intend to tie us up from the start. They said, why waste effort tying up weak, pitifully stupid people? Annoying. Let's go find food. That works in our favor, even though I don't see Spotted anywhere. But this isn't the worst situation. Regatta's group is in the forest. Regatta. Yes, I heard they captured Sabaya and Heron. It seems Nan is trying to lure Regatta here. Enya thought, that means Regatta and Nyatin might have saved the teammates in Gigantha. If Regatta is here, it's highly likely he will join forces with Yeru, since both sides agreed to join and work together from start. If everyone has completed their own missions, Enya to Nirvana Forest, Nyatin with Regatta on the mission to rescue teammates from the Gigantha Alliance, and Yeru and Nyatin's group to Pius's clinic. Then the gathering destination is the Nirvana Forest Waterfall. We agreed to gather at the Nirvana Forest Waterfall. That means everyone is coming here. Suddenly a voice rang out, cutting off her train of thought. Damn it, attacking my troops not just once but twice? What the hell are you doing? You guys doing what the hell that you don't even know about the attack of those savages? Those savages took advantage of our troops' carelessness. And now you realize? Turns out you guys intend to do this to me. Enya and Cinda just stood there stunned. Nan ordered, bring them out. Don't touch me. Let me go. Yeah, get off. Let go. Suddenly, he dragged Enya. You come here. She panicked and called out. Cinda, Jahan. He put a sword to Enya's neck. If you resist, I'll kill these bastards first. Enya just ground her teeth in anger. Cinda worriedly called out. Enya, stand still, you savages. I'm holding the bitch you are looking for. Lower your weapons. Yeru called out. Enya. Nan continued to threaten. Otherwise, I'll slit the bitch's throat. But he didn't expect Cinda had appeared behind him with a rock in hand. A few minutes earlier, Cinda glanced down at the ground and saw a rock nearby. Nan was paying attention to Yeru's group. Stand still, you savages. Otherwise, I'll slit the bitch's throat. At this moment, Enya ducked down, holding her neck. She turned to look in amazement. Cinda smashed Nan's head hard, making him lie flat on the ground. She didn't stop screaming, Die, die, you motherfucker. Suddenly, Enya called out, Cinda, the soldiers. Cinda, we have to run. The soldiers are coming, damn it. Suddenly, arrows flew and whizzing past Enya's face, accurately piercing the pursuers behind. Enya couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Ooh! When she saw that person, she exclaimed, Yeru. I knew Yeru would come too. And that woman, Sabaya. They really caught Sabaya. Enya, what are you doing? Let's go. Okay. After replying, Enya hurriedly ran off. Sabaya ground her teeth, calling, Enya. At this time, Jahan cut the ropes for Piaka. Why is this so thick? Cut it faster. Almost done. Piaka looked at Nyatin, holding off the enemy with great worry. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Jahan, Piaka, Enya, you're okay. Jahan happily said, done. Damn it. Seems those bastards fed Rekin something. He has no consciousness at all. We will take care of him. Help Nyatin, Piaka. Are you sure? Right now Nyatin's side is more critical. Don't worry. We will catch up soon. Understood. I'll take point and clear the path. Enya thought. Looks too serious. Esnu's body is heating up. The longer it takes, the worse his condition will get. Try a little longer, Esnu. Looking at the bridge across the river ahead, Enya said to Esnu, it's our turn to cross. Okay. Suddenly footsteps sounded from behind. Esnu alertly turned back. He immediately pushed Enya away. Enya, look out. A spear stabbed past in front of Enya. On this side, Yeru was stunned. That hag disappeared. That hag escaped. Where did she go? Sabaya. At this moment, Esnu fearfully called, Mother. Enya looked at that woman in astonishment. How did Sabaya get here? Instinctively, I knew that right at that moment. If I didn't face her, I would die at Sabaya's hands. Thinking so, Enya rushed forward to grab the spear and struggle. Meanwhile, Esnu tried hard to stop them. What are you doing? Mother, stop it. Let me go. Don't touch me. At this moment, she had pushed Enya to the edge of the rock. Esnu screamed, Enya. He hurriedly rushed down, trying to grab Enya. Sabaya also lost momentum and plunged down too. The result was all three fell to a ledge not far below. Watching the spear fall into the abyss, Esnu sighed in relief, thinking, "Lucky we are alive because of the ledge right below the cliff." Suddenly Sabaya screamed, "It's all because of you. If it wasn't for you, my life would have been perfect. It's your fault I became like this." Esnu also shouted loudly, "Please stop," making Sabaya freeze. "Aren't you tired, Mother? You constantly blame others." "Mother, please, just this once. Can you accept your fault, even once? It's not the end, not for Aquili and not for you. Please, Mother." Sabaya sneered. "It not the end?" Her voice became cold. "Nonsense. I am a beautiful living model in Aquili, an idol of all women. Yet, there is still something I couldn't have." "Condi, are you leaving for good? Why don't you stay a bit longer before leaving?" Condi coldly asked. "With you? For what? Love I couldn't have his love. The passionate love that even those deceitful outsiders have. I truly crave their relationship. So I brought him into my room as soon as he came of age. I have brought the person you wanted, Lady Sabaya. If you do as I say, I will release you from that dirty work. Massage my back with oil." But Tayan glared and said, "Are you crazy? Damn bastard. How dare you say that to Lady Sabaya?" He refused immediately. In his shallow mind, no other woman existed. Except one, the love that I could never have, that crippled and boring girl possessed it. "Mother, you used to love father. No matter how many women Condi slept with, you never thought he was wrong. Because that is the tradition and culture in Aquili. Because that is what he was educated. But you make me suffer like this, you and that man. If this isn't the end, then what is it?" Sabaya took out a dagger from behind her back, then aimed at Enya and lunged. Esnu hesitated not to pull Enya's hand, letting himself take Sabaya's knife, and next both fell into the deep river. Before the shock of Sabaya, Enya also widened her eyes in surprise. At this moment, a scream rang out. No, Tayan had arrived, but was a step too late. He stood helplessly watching his woman just fall like that. A splash resounded. Water sprayed up in the abyss. Sabaya stood stunned, looking after them. Regatta also screamed. "Damn it, Enya!" Casa exclaimed, "This is trouble. We are leaving. Without the forest child, continuing the war is pointless." "What? I believe with your ability, you will escape easily. Don't die. See you again." Regatta shouted, "Casa!" At this moment down in the river, Enya was safe and sound, pulling Esnu up. "Esnu, are you okay? Wait a moment. First, I will pull the knife out and stop the bleeding. Don't faint." Esnu, just now I saw Tayan there. Tayan will probably come here, so try to hold on a bit longer." Her tears fell. She silently begged, "Blood, please stop flowing. Please." At this moment, Esnu weakly spoke up. "My mother, I know it won't work, but I couldn't let go of my last hope. Maybe I wanted to do my best. Enya, I have a request. There is an anklet on my right ankle. Can you give it to Salanda? Actually, it belongs to my mother. She left it when taking me to the Wind Cave. Whether she left it intentionally or by mistake, I'm not sure either. But seeing that anklet made me angry. I haven't worn it for a long time. However, I had a wonderful thought that Salanda would look very good in it. Can you tell her that I am very sorry for making her sad? Tell her that every time I saw her get angry, it brought me a strength that I didn't know, so I couldn't help myself." Enya said, "Tell her yourself. You said you wanted to live. You said you wanted to live with everyone under the sunlight. You can live. I will also help so that the people in that windland can settle here and start a new life. Please stay." Esnu smiled and said, "Aye." But after that, no words were spoken. Enya started and called out, "Esnu," but responding to her was a terrifying silence. At that moment, it suddenly began to rain. Enya just sat there, watching Esnu lying motionless. That night, in a cave, Enya recalled the scene where Tayan was messing around and asked, "What does everyone want to do after all this is over? Why ask me that stuff?" "I don't know." Tayan was excited. "Don't be like that, tell me. I'll start first. I'm going to get a tan from head to toe. No one can stop me." Bilica licked her lips and said, "I think I'll chug as much honey wine as possible and then take a nap. And Salanda here, I don't know why, but I think you won't say. Enya will surely live happily with that guy Tayan." Salanda was confused. "It's strange that it's really annoying when you skip me." "Ha, Esnu, what about you?" When asked, Esnu was confused. "Me?" Everyone looked at Esnu, awaiting his answer. That day, Esnu did not answer. But somehow, I felt like I knew what he was thinking. He probably thought of his mother. It's so meaningless. After Esnu's death was left hanging like that. He was a great person. No words can describe the regret as he lay there. The trail of blood kept flowing out toward the mouth of the cave. Suddenly, Enya sat up. But why did things turn out this way? Thinking about it now, I've become familiar with death. It has always clung to me. close by, uncomfortably so. Perhaps I will never be able to escape this cycle. I wonder if this cycle of mine affects those around me too. At the same time, the brawl was still ongoing. Regatta caught Yeru. Are you okay? Yeah. Suddenly, a rope was thrown from behind, wrapping around Regatta's neck and yanking him back. Yeru shouted in panic. Regatta. Suddenly, someone raised their voice. What are you people doing? Help the allies and capture the enemies. Yeru heard it and turned around. This voice. Abisak. She appeared there leading her people. Back at the cave, Enya continued her negative train of thought. As always, the intense desire to give up right here took over her. I can't move forward anymore. The things I couldn't do before, I will do right now. Enya grabbed the knife and pointed it straight at her neck. Just then, there was the sound of footsteps approaching, along with a familiar voice calling her name. Enya. Enya stopped and turned to look. It was Tan. He was standing at the cave entrance looking at Enya. Her voice stuttered. Tan. Tan stood silently thinking. I thought you were doing very well, and that's how it should have been. Even if you had to roll in the mud or bathe in a sea of blood. I always imagined Enya eating happily and sleeping soundly on a warm bed. No, I hope for that. At least, I didn't think you would end up like this. Amidst the pouring rain, Tan questioned her. How could you do this to me? How could you have such nonsense thoughts in your head? How could you think you could leave me behind and go, huh? His questions made her snap out of it. She stared at the knife in her hand. Then she hurriedly threw it aside. She grabbed her wrist, curling up and trembling. Tan frowned with heartache. I planned that if I found you, you could finish me off. If you were dead, I would try to restore your body to its original state and then follow you. I thought this miserable life would finally end. But you won't even allow me to achieve that. Speaking, he moved closer to Enya. It's all my fault. I couldn't even fulfill the role of a proper husband and father. Everything went wrong because of you coming to someone like me, someone who couldn't protect you. The bone spiders won't recognize you as the child of the forest. Let's go somewhere else, just you and me. This time, I promise I will protect you. Enya's voice trembled. Then, will your conscience feel better? Even when I hate myself so much, I just want to die. Tan froze, bewildered. What? Enya continued. If you were sacrificing your whole self just to protect me, then what about me? Does it mean nothing to you if, for every wound on your body, there's another cut on my heart? Because of you, I've become this weak and useless, unable to do anything. I hate myself to death, but do you even care? It's not that I hate myself so much I want to die. It's just that I want to die. On the day our child died, Enya's eyes widened, her hands clenched tight. Ow, do you know about that? Tan interrupted. Everything, including what you think about the child's death, is my fault. Because I never wanted children. I was afraid of that child. Enya, I was afraid that if I lived as a father, it would be too tragic if the child lived a life like its father. I even thought it would be better if the child wasn't born. It makes me feel like I killed the baby. Enya, as a father, I had those thoughts. I really am a hopeless piece of scum. I always disappoint you and hurt you. Enya lunged forward to hug Tan. Stop it. That's not true. Tan, you lit up my life in a hollow place. That's right. In a place where everything was broken and rotting, you were like the only one holding on to life. As if a boy walked out of a myth. That's why my grandfather told me to follow you. Even when you threw stones to chase away a nuisance like me, you missed on purpose so I wouldn't get hurt. You were willing to apologize to a child you had never met. So don't say things like that. Tan furrowed his brows tightly, then turned his face away. Enya, I met your mother when you weren't around. What? Actually, when you went out, I secretly took care of your mother. She asked me to take good care of you. She also apologized and thanked you. And she said she loved you too, many times. Enya, okay, she said she loved you more than herself. I will scream it over and over again. It was so intense, as if she wanted to pull you out of your shell. You were the one who taught me to protect what I have. The reason I can't stop loving you. I will never stop telling you what kind of love Tan has received. That is how I protect you. Tan, you have never stopped being loved, not even once. Even now, it's the same. From your mother, from me, and from our child who is about to take form. As she spoke, she placed his hand on her belly. Tan opened his eyes wide in surprise. Enya continued. So you must live with all your might until the very end of this life. What did you just say? A child. Enya wrapped her arms around his neck and pulled him down. Tan, kiss me. Tan hesitated, Wait, Enya, can we talk first? But no, Enya pulled Taein close and locked lips with him. Taein responded to her sweet kiss. While they were lost in the moment, Enya passed something to Taein. After swallowing, he quickly pulled away and asked, Enya, what did you just make me drink? It's okay. Someone said it's just a sleeping pill if used in a small amount. Taein began to feel dizzy. No, Enya, wise the ground. Please trust me, just this once, nothing will happen. With that, Taein collapsed onto Enya and fell asleep. After laying him down, she gave him a kiss. I'm sorry, Taein, but as the child of the forest, surely there must be something I can do. I will definitely come back. After that, Enya left the cave. She maneuvered through every nook and cranny, searching for the spiders with determination. There's only one way to end this. That is for me, the child of the forest, to tame the bone spiders. Of course, I'm also afraid of pushing this child before the god of death once again. This whole forest is whispering to me, as if by telepathy, which path is safe, which direction will encounter the spiders. The forest is constantly guiding me to the right path. Why did I only realize this now? She looked down at the grass beneath her feet. I understand. Enya looked at the cliff in front of her. She said, it's over there. That was a place full of spiderwebs. Enya slowly climbed up the steep cliff, heading toward the spider's lair. It looks like a giant white wall covering everything. Will I be able to reach the top? But the forest kept telling her to climb up this place. Enya gripped the spider silk tightly, immediately feeling the web vibrate stronger and stronger. She thought to herself, the web is starting to vibrate. That means the spiders are near. Where? Where are they? Where the hell are they? Suddenly, her gaze froze as she sensed a spider moving beneath her feet. It opened its large mouth toward Enya. In the moment of facing the giant spider, Enya recalled the conversation with Salanda. There's still a chance, Salanda. What? What are you saying? Piaka said that the child of nature and the giant monsters will form a bloodline bond. When explaining about the child of the forest, she also showed a little blood from her fingertip to the spiders. If they smell the scent of my blood, perhaps they will recognize me. Remembering this, Enya drew the knife at her side. The mission ahead was determined. Even if this isn't the only way, it's the only way I can think of right now. This is what I need to do for the spiders to recognize me as the child of the forest. Thinking this, she took the knife and cut a line on her calf. Enya let go of the spiderweb. It hurts so much. I feel my strength gradually disappearing. I live a life full of hatred just because of this crippled leg. But now it is slowly recovering. A chance for me to stand firm on my own 2 feet. But even if I throw away that precious chance, I won't regret it. If I could be by your side again. So, Taein, let's live together. Jahan was crying while carrying Salanda on his back. Piaka ran alongside, scolding, Stop being a crybaby, you idiot. We barely escaped. Do you want to get caught again? But Esna died. Esnu is dead. Furthermore, Enya was also swept away by that fierce waterfall. No, Enya isn't dead yet. I saw it. Taein jumped into the waterfall right after Enya. But Esnu was stabbed by a knife. If Esnu is gone, then all of us from the mine are done for. Done for. Hoo. Piaka silently cursed. Damn it, with my strength, I can only escape with these two. That Pergia turned the tables at the very last minute. Yeru and his group are still stuck there. There's no chance of winning anymore. Suddenly, someone blocked the way ahead. Stop. Go back to the cave. Taein had woken up by then. He sat up and rubbed his face. Oh, damn it. Esnu's corpse was still there. He called out the name Enya, then punched the ground hard. Enya, why? Why did you try to avoid me like that? Just why? I can't stop pitying myself. The source of help that got me through this miserable life. The only family I just gained, Enya. My everything. I thought I was only living for her. I didn't even know Enya had been taking care of me all this time. He patted Spotty's head and asked, Can you track Enya, just like when you found this place? Damn it. The rain must have washed away her scent. You guard his body here, okay? He must be one of Enya's teammates. If I'm not mistaken, she must have gone to the bone spiders to protect everyone. This time, I will definitely protect you, my everything. Back to Piaka. As she was running, someone said stop. Surprise was evident on Piaka's face when she saw Kian, the chief of the Nirvana tribe, in front of her. She asked loudly, Unbelievable. Piaka, is it really you? Mrs. Piak also asked urgently, Enya, where is Enya? Is the child okay? Faced with this question, Piaka stammered, yes. Enya fell down the waterfall. Mrs. Piak was stunned upon hearing this. I see, I understand. So even if I hurried here, everything was already too late. Ihita said worriedly, Calm down, old man. Suddenly someone said, It's not too late yet. It's not over yet. Salanda walked over. That bastard Gurin is still alive. Sebia and Pergia's troops too. They're stationed around the boulder area. This is our chance to wipe them out. As long as I'm alive, I won't let Esnu die in vain like that. Judging by your arm, you must be Salanda, whom the man named Caleb spoke of. I understand how you feel, but even if we bring weapons from the wind cave, our chance of winning is still very slim. The reason is they cannot be reused after exploding, and if we miss, there is no way to counterattack. We'll be exposing our backs to them. Furthermore, most of the warriors have been mobilized to search for Enya. If we start a fight, it's no different from seeking our own death. But we don't need to win, right? What do you mean? We will use the weapons from the wind cave. Salanda pointed towards the waterfall to retrieve them. Then everyone moved to the position Salanda indicated. Are you guys really going to do it? If we destroy it, Pergia will suffer heavy damage. IRU is still captured by Pergia. They will be swept away with them. Kian shouted, silence. Right now, the safety of Nirvana is the more urgent issue. Piaka cut in. That's right. Salanda observed and thought to herself, if Pergia discovers this group and carries out a massacre, Nirvana will disappear from history. This was a difficult choice to make, as she was the leader. Suddenly John muttered names. Ramba, Kurz, Jasalai, Nibri, Karika, Sonia, Nimpala, Lakila, Veru, Kansalai, Iski, and Mavini. Salanda's eyes widened in surprise, then filled with tears. Those were the names of the departed, the names of the people from the wind cave. Just then, the sun shone down, bright light enveloping everyone. Kian exclaimed, what a miracle! I can see the sun. She turned back and asked, well, is everyone ready? Everyone got into position. Kian raised his hand high and shouted, fire! An explosion rang out, making Abisak's group stumble. She shouted, what was that sound? We will investigate immediately. IRU wondered in surprise. Is it an earthquake? No, it's the sound of floodwaters. The very next second, the flood roared in along with a screaming voice. Help me. Sebia ran in fear. I can't die in a place like this. Abisak also screamed, damn it, don't give in to this water. The water continued to roar in. The Nirvana people were also swept away by the flood. Everyone tried to reach out, searching for each other. IRU struggled to surface for air. This water, did the dam in the forest collapse? The entire Pergia army had been washed away. IRU gradually sank. This is probably the end for me, but this is also hope for Nirvana's victory. Just then, someone's frantic call rang out. IRU. IRU was bewildered as spider silk wrapped around her, pulling her from the water. Sitting on the back of a giant spider, Enya asked, are you okay? IRU, recalling earlier. After falling down the cliff, Enya opened her eyes wide. Oh, did I just lose consciousness? Where am I? She was shocked to see the spider in front of her. Her face turned pale with fear. Suddenly, she realized her whole body was covered in something. This is from the bone spiders. Did it save me? I can feel it. Enya reached out and touched the bone spider. The incredible strength and flexibility of this monster. It's very clear that this bone spider has no intention of harming me. I can clearly feel its emotions and vision transmitting into my head. I have successfully connected with the spiders. Perhaps the conversation between the bone spider and the child of the forest isn't merely through words, but is a form of mental and physical connection. How long have I been unconscious? She began communicating with the bone spider. Tell me the situation in the forest. Through the bone spider, she learned that IRU was in danger. Salanda was with everyone preparing to break the dam, and she saw someone in the forest. Suddenly, that person winked and said, see you later. Enya was startled and wondered, who was she? Definitely not an ordinary person. No, there are more important things right now. The dam in the forest is about to collapse. IRU is hanging by a thread. She said, please, take me to the rocks right now. Back to the present, IRU asked, Enya, you've linked with the spiders? Enya reached out her hand and urged, quick, get on. We need to save the others too. IRU trembled as the bone spider used its claws to cut the binding ropes. Even I, a Nirvana warrior, feel weak standing before this bone spider. But Enya isn't affected at all. It's like you're glowing, Enya. Immediately after, the bone spider utilized its legs to save all the people of the Nirvana tribe. Everyone hugged each other joyfully upon being reunited. Mrs. Piak walked over and said, I'm glad everyone is okay. IRU's family hugged each other after the disaster. Ihida rushed over to hug Rockin. I was so worried about you, Rockin. Mrs. Piak was surprised. Wait, since when did you guys? Then it was Kian's turn to drop his jaw when he saw Piaka hugging and kissing Leroy. You two as well. Over here, Rockin lifted Ahita up and spun her around. Seeing this scene, Enya smiled happily. Seeing everyone asking after and caring for one another, she thought to herself. There were many people swept away by the water and injured. She turned to ask the bone spider, "Is there any place to take shelter?" After that, the bone spider led everyone to a pristine place. I never thought there would be a place like this at the top of the Nirvana forest. It's like a new land in the clouds. Why is there soil up so high? Perhaps the spider silk strung between the trunk and branches formed a new layer of soil. There is water here too, and lots of fruit. We can weave these vines to climb down and hunt. Could Nirvana now live not in, but above the forest? Suddenly Jahan noticed something. It looks like a place where gods reside. Somewhere else, Sebia was struggling to run. Everyone except me was swept away by the flood. That Pergia bitch too. In the flood, she remembered the image of Enya falling into the water with Esnu and stopped, throwing away the chief's favor, love, and family. I decided I would continue to be Sebia, the successor elder of Aquili. Remembering the past, when Sebia gave birth to her first child, Elder Heron had bestowed a bracelet along with praise that it was a baby boy. You did well. Saying that, he turned and left. Sebia looked down at her child with hope and called him Esnu. When I was young, I thought that bracelet included your heart. You were my pride and joy, but you abandoned me, holding another child and going to the dwellings of other women. Sebia was so lost in thought she didn't realize something had wrapped around her leg. So, when I abandoned Esnu, I also threw away that bracelet. No longer anyone's wife or mother. I decided to dedicate my life to the glory of Aquili. Yet that meant nothing. Sebia clutched her head and screamed, while the man-eating flower monsters loomed closer. The very next second, a blood-curdling scream rang out, and Sebia's blood spurted out, marking her end. On another side, Giran begged in fear. "Please, I don't know anything. I only did what my mother told me. Please spare my life." Facing Tayan's deadly gaze, he turned and tried to run away from Tayan, looking back in fear as he ran. He died right in front of me. That bastard suddenly appeared and killed grandfather. Damn it, if only my army hadn't been swept away by the water. But he fell and is injured. His stamina isn't normal. I can get away from him. Just as a glimmer of hope sparked, he ran into a man-eating flower trap. Giran tripped and fell flat on the ground. Damn it, even these stupid vines are hindering me. He punched the ground hard. Leave me alone. A large shadow appeared right behind him. Giran slowly turned around. What met his eyes was the craving mouth of a monster flower. A crunching sound rang out, blood splattered, and Giran was reunited with his mother. Over here, Tayan leaned wearily against a tree. Damn it, the drug has affected me, and this area isn't Cavaligo territory. I didn't notice because I was trying to chase Giran. Tayan frowned, gasping for breath. In his mind, the image of Enya appeared. "Enya, I have to find you." Just then, Enya shouted his name, "Tayan." Hearing the call, he opened his eyes wide. He looked up and saw Enya. She was swinging on spider silk, coming towards him. Enya frowned deeply. The tentacles of the carnivorous flower also slowly released Tayan's legs. "Tayan, what am I to do with you? Taking care of yourself is truly a difficult job. How can you survive without me?" Tayan looked at her and smiled, then hugged Enya tightly. "I can't live without you, Enya. So, please never leave me again." Then Tayan returned with Enya. Everyone cheered. "Enya has returned. Are you injured?" "I'm fine. Bien cut in. Right now, right now. Enya needs to rest. Let her sit down, stop bothering her, and go away. You have to know, she's very tired already." "Oh my God, stop it, Bien. You're treating her like a child. Enya is much stronger than before." Hearing that, Enya let out a sigh of relief. Kian walked over and called out, "The more I look at you, the more you remind me of my daughter. You have her courage and strength. Thank you so much for being like her." Yeru and Piaka witnessed this scene and clapped happily. Kian turned back and wiped his tears. "Now bow down, everyone." After speaking, Kian knelt before Enya. The others were bewildered, then also took turns kneeling. Everyone knelt around Enya and said, "We have a new chief." Then everyone started building houses. I didn't expect us to start living together like this, but I'm glad everyone is adapting to the new life. Men and women used to live separately to protect themselves from the bone spider. Now that the daughter of the forest has returned, the women will be safe even when they are pregnant. After many trials and errors, we're just starting to get used to living together. The people of Nirvana, Aquili, the abandoned field, and the wind cave. We all came from different places to settle on the same land. Kian, Rejin, Tayan, Bien, and the leaders of other groups are also having a meeting to create a new system. Taein, in particular, had a lot of influence as the leader of many different armies. We might be living in the same area, but we will soon divide it into districts. I heard that Aquili men are particularly popular with the women. Is it true that men find women by building houses for them in Aquili? Huh. Suddenly someone called out, Kian, Enia, there you are. We found traces of Sebia and Girin. Two screaming faces were still imprinted in the husk of the carnivorous flower tree. Everyone looked tense and apprehensive at the scene. Enia turned and asked, are you sure this is Sebia and Girin? Yes, we even found Heron's body nearby. Enia lowered her face. I can't believe this is how Sebia and Girin met their end. Kian ordered, we still have many enemies to search for, but we will end the search at this point. Then what about the red-haired woman leading the Pergia army? Maybe she was eaten by the Cavaligo like these two, or maybe she was swept away by the current. Either way, she couldn't have survived. We should focus on rebuilding Nirvana instead of wasting time and manpower searching for enemy corpses. Anyway, Enia, what do you think we should do with these bodies? What do you plan to do, Enia? Enia hesitated, thinking to herself, although they met a terrible death, I still can't forgive them for the pain they caused to so many people. But Taein understood her mood and held her hand to encourage her. Enia looked up in surprise, then turned back with confidence, holding his hand tightly and speaking clearly. I want to bury them next to SNU. I want SNU's tree to grow and cover the ground where Sebia and Heron are buried. That way, SNU's dream will come true. Solanda went to sit in front of the tree. Enia walked over and said, Solanda, do you think I was too easy on them? The most important thing is SNU's feelings. I'm sure he would want to be buried next to his mother and grandfather. How foolish. Seeing Solanda looking sad, Enia called, Solanda. Then she held out SNU's bracelet. SNU wanted me to give this to you. Solanda took it and thanked Enia. Afterward, Enia used her power to help everyone build houses. All done. Thank you so much, Enia. Don't worry, I'm just doing my job. Once I connected with the bone spider, I gained the power to control all the animals in the forest. Our work is much easier thanks to you, Enia. The work was hard at first, but I like the feeling of being needed by others. Every day is busy but fun. Enia, please help us later. Can you help us? All right, I'll be right there. Enia was immersed in work when Taein hugged her tightly. That's enough for today. It's late. All of you should go home now. She rolled her eyes and called, Taein, were you looking for me? But I'm very messy after working all day. She lowered her face worriedly. Do I smell? Suddenly, he picked her up in his arms. I came here because I knew you would keep working forever. I don't ask for much, nor do I expect you to stay in bed all day. I just wish you could be more careful. At least you shouldn't overexert yourself for the sake of our child. Even with Nirvana's healing power, you still can't walk normally anymore because you stabbed your leg so hard. Maybe the goddess Nirvana took my leg so I could be by your side like this. Saying that, she looked at him and smiled. Taein rested his head on her. You must be tired. I found a warm lake near the sandpaper trees. Near the sandpaper trees? That's right. It's the perfect place to bathe. Maybe it's because we're at the top of the forest, but the water there is very clean. Taein suggested, let's bathe together. She started and turned around. Here? There's no one here right now. All construction in this area is finished. I brought you here because I thought you wanted to wash up, right? Enia hesitated, thinking, I do want to bathe, but this is the first time we've bathed together in the Nirvana forest. Come to think of it, it's been a long time since we spent private time together. Taein turned away shyly. Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not trying to do anything here. I'm not an animal. Nor am I a cruel man trying to sleep with you in a place like this while you're pregnant. I've sent everyone back to the village, so I don't think anyone will come here. But if you're worried, I'll keep watch while you wash first. Enia heard this and giggled. Then I'll go in first. He turned back. What? Let's bathe together, Taein. Someone gave me this while I was working earlier. I heard Nirvana people use this fragrant oil when bathing. Enia laughed and cried out, oh, that tickles. Taein said, I used to think you looked better with long hair, but now you look like a forest fairy with short hair. He said that. A forest fairy? But he's the one who looks like a mythological god. Taein said, you should dive into the water now. She replied, yes, then quickly dove down. This isn't the first time I've seen Taein naked, so why do I feel so shy and embarrassed? A moment later, she surfaced and said, turn around, Taein. Now it's my turn to wash you. But Taein stood still without reacting. This surprised Enia. A moment later, she reached out, then hugged him from behind. He turned around and called, Enya, you are still in the early stages of pregnancy, so you need to be careful. But Salanda said it's stable now, so there's no need to worry for the time being. What's wrong, Tan? It's not the first time we've done this. He looked at her intently for a while, then kissed her lips, a sweet and deep kiss. Enya thought, there is something different about this compared to before. Maybe this is also the effect of the Nirvana Forest's energy. I want Tayan so much. While excited, suddenly Tayan pushed her away. No, Enya, if we really want to do this here, we can't do it this way. No need to try to arouse me. I'm already ready. Enya hugged him tightly again. If we're going to do this, it needs to be done gently, so you stay safe. A few months later, Piaka looked thoughtful and said, It's amazing. You are the healthiest pregnant woman I have ever seen, and your baby is also very energetic. If I had known Nirvana Forest could work such miracles for you, I would have brought you here much sooner. Please don't say that, Piaka. If it weren't for you, Tayan and I wouldn't have survived this long. She said emotionally, That's right. I'm sure you will raise the child well. Have you decided on a name yet? Enya exclaimed in surprise. Oh. After thinking for a while, she rubbed her belly and said the name. Sanuka. We will name him Sanuka. I see. That is a very beautiful name. Suddenly, hurried footsteps were heard outside. Ahita rushed in, gasping. Enya, we have a problem, a big problem. What's wrong, Ahita? The desert warriors are coming here to see you, Enya. They insist on meeting the daughter of the forest. At this moment outside, Yeru was cursing at the man named Kassa. You ungrateful bastard. You ran away as soon as our battle started, so you have a lot of nerve showing up here. But how did you know the way to this hidden forest? Just then, Enya walked over and called, Yeru, Tayan, what is happening? Tayan scolded Ahita. I told you not to bring Enya here. I was the one who asked her to do it, Tayan. At this, Kassa spoke up. So, you are the daughter of the forest. He teased. Are all daughters of nature beautiful? Tayan stepped forward to block him. Come closer if you want that smile to disappear from your face. Wow, Tayan, you're still as scary as ever. It's not like we are strangers, and you are about to become a father. So, shouldn't you be calmer? Yeru said again. You are the one who betrayed our alliance, so I'm surprised you came all the way here to talk to us. Why are you here? Suddenly, the girl beside Kassa spoke up. He did it for me. The daughter of nature becomes weak when entering the territory of another daughter. In fact, just standing here like this makes me a little tense. I apologize that we abandoned the alliance when Nirvana needed help, but my health was deteriorating so quickly that I had to return to the desert. Kassa said, No need to apologize, Rio. The head of every tribe must be responsible for their people. You made the right decision for the desert tribe that day. We couldn't lose the daughter of the desert due to the fall of Nirvana. Yera shouted, Nirvana did not fall. At this, Enya spoke up and asked, So, why did you come to see me? I am here to propose a trip, Enya. You see, I'm going to rattle this straight. The scorpion whale is a giant creature that rules the ocean, and there's only one person who can control it. We must find the one with the soul of the sea. Daughter of the Strait, please come with us, Enya. People say the daughter of the Strait has gone extinct, but look at me and you. Maybe she's also alive somewhere, just like us. This world is only truly balanced when all daughters of nature protect it together. We cannot just watch the forest and the desert while ignoring the strait. I want to restore the position of the daughters of nature as well as the balance of the world. Enya replied, I'm afraid I can't go right now, because my child will be born soon. Haha, I suppose I was impatient. Enya looked at Tayan and said, But I am willing to go find the daughter of the strait with you. That way, my child can meet the other daughters of nature. Thank you for your cooperation, and thank you for surviving. Enya was a bit surprised. She reached out her hand and said, I hope from now on we will meet often. Rio took Enya's hand. After all, we are still soul sisters. The daughter of the desert, Rio, was a slave in Giganta. Kassa was the captain of a mercenary squad for a slave trading group. But one day, he organized a rebellion. I met him for the first time when Giganta asked for our help to defeat him. Later, I discovered that he had started the rebellion because of a woman named Rio. So the scar on her face represents a painful past. I hope my child can grow up in a better world. After everything was done, Enya called, Tayan, the path we are taking is different from usual. Where are we going? Tayan smiled and said, Of course, in our hometown. Tayan asked, What were you thinking? She excitedly asked, Is the house completely built? Yes, and we don't have to walk to the well every day anymore because I've connected the water line to our house. Enya hugged him tightly. It looks amazing. Thank you, Tayan. I have something to ask you, Inia. I heard that the Nirvana people have established something called the Spring Pledge instead of marriage. So, Inia, will you make the Spring Pledge with me? You don't have to if you don't want to, but she interrupted him, replying, Of course I want to. Let's make the Spring Pledge together. You better not change your mind either. Saying that, she kissed Taeyeon's lips sweetly. Because you're the only man I want to commit to. Taeyeon blushed and called out softly, Inia, please accept me as your husband. While it was romantic, suddenly a voice rang out. Oh my God, did I interrupt you too? Solanda continued. I'm here to fulfill what you asked, Inia. Solanda, she presented a box. Here, this is the treasure box you told me about. I retrieved it from the house in Aquili where you used to live. Thank you, Solanda. These items represent the precious memories I share with Taeyeon. No problem. And here is the doll from your child's grave, as well as soil from the burial site. Inia paused for a moment, then hugged those things to her chest, her tears flowing out. Thank you so much, Solanda. Oh my, why are you crying on such a happy day? You received a new house as a gift, didn't you? You should smile for your child. Suddenly, Inia froze. Solanda shouted unexpectedly, Inia, when she saw water flowing down from Inia. Taeyeon hurriedly said, Let's take Inia home immediately. The baby is coming. Then everyone gathered around, their expressions looking extremely worried. Some people prayed for Inia's safety. A while later, Piaka opened the door with a joyful smile on her face. Only then did everyone heave a sigh of relief, all cheering happily. Piaka suddenly shed a tear, but this time they were tears of happiness. Inia held her child in her arms alongside Taeyeon, and they had become a true family. Time flew by. A few months later, everyone lived a peaceful and happy life. Ihida and Jaikin also had their first child. Even though when they first met, these two were like fire and water, arguing all day long. At this moment, Solanda and Yeren noticed someone. That person was Inia, wearing a simple wedding dress. Our love grows deeper with each passing year, despite the misery and painful times we have endured, and we never stopped loving each other. Love can sprout even in the wild forest. If you live until the sprouts bloom, you will experience the happiest moment of your life. The series ends here. Thank you for following the entire story. While waiting for the new series, please watch other stories on the Q Muoi review channel to kill time. Wishing you all happiness and energy. Goodbye and see you again.